part of a program that is learning how to win, you're going to have the lead and have mistakes, cause yourself to lose those games. Now the kids got to learn how to hold on to those leads to start getting the ball rolling.
Tyler, talk about some of those Boomers, maybe particularly the seniors that have gotten better since back in August, that are making the Boomers actually, quite honestly, more competitive. Who are some of those kids?
Yeah, so Ryan Douglas Fisher has had kind of an interesting year. Started at receiver, was a quarterback start last year, got kind of unseated by the freshman Cash Carter. This year, it was the role reversal. Cash Carter was unseated by Ryan Douglas Fisher, and he's had a really good year throwing the football since he stepped in. And has thrown with some purpose, ran the offense with authority. And Cooper Littall, running back, defensive back, has done a lot for us both ways. Has had punt return on special teams, constantly wreaking havoc in the secondary. And then at running back, when the holes are there, making some smart decisions, some good cuts. Mason Bourne, another one of those seniors that's really doing a phenomenal job at his defensive back position. Cason Bourne, the linebacker, he kind of is the guy, right? He's the big, strong guy in the middle. And he's been doing an excellent job. And then Drake Roberts been a bit banged up on the offensive line. He's back tonight. He started the season pretty strong, and good to see him back tonight and continue to try to lead that line. I know he's really helped out those young guys, tried to bring them along the best he can, even when he's injured. So those guys have really all stepped up big time as seniors, and that's the thing. They're still bought in, CJ. They're still out here playing their butts off. And when you're seeing that, despite the record, you could tell they believe in what they're trying to do.
Guys, have a good broadcast tonight at Boomer Field. The Boomers and the Trojans from Douglas. We'll step aside here in just a little bit, or at least we'll stay here, but we're going to let you get your pregame festivities underway here in just a little bit. Thank you, my friends. Jess Wales, Pioneer, Moore's Roofing, Blue Sage Services, as well as Jess Wales, Pioneer, Moore's Roofing, Blue Sage Services. Those folks make Friday Night Quick Scores possible all season long. So we need to step aside. See, I told you I'd mess that up. Let's take a break. Back we come in just a few. Quick Scores, football Friday night.
Tired of complicated Wi-Fi management? Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi makes it easy. With Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi, you can set your Wi-Fi password, view all your connected devices, and even run speed tests all from your phone. Need to set up parental controls? No problem. Simple, smart, secure. Stay connected and in control with Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi. Visit GoPioneer.com to learn more.
Since 2011, Blue Sage Services has been your premier civil construction, dirt work, and specialty services provider, with the right equipment, the right experience, and the right attitude to build any project. Blue Sage Services is proud to be a part of the local Beaver County community, supporting select FFA, athletic, and community events. Contact us today to talk about what projects you need built, or learn more at bluesageservices.com, or call us at 580-625-6100.
K&K Body Works would like to welcome home our brave troops. Your cards, emails, and care packages have kept their spirits up. Now that they are back home safely, let's continue to show our gratitude for their service to our great country. That's from K&K Body Works at 301 Flynn Street in Alva, Collision Specialists. They do everything in automobile body, fender repairing, and complete painting service for anything from a dent to a wreck. Stan and his staff wish all a safe fall season.
This is Woodward Boomer Football on News Talk Sports Z92, the home of the Woodward Boomers. Woodward Boomer Football is brought to you by Pioneer Broadband, High Plains Tire, Bank of Western Oklahoma, State Farm Agent Dwayne Matthews, Compass Athletics, Western Drug, Great Plains Bank, R5 Custom Embroidery, M&D Enterprises and the Lawnmower Shop, The Bearded Barber, Sealing State Bank, and Smith & Company Auction and Realty. Here with the call of tonight's game is Tyler Riggs and Eric Scott.
Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us as we are coming to you live from Boomer Field on this Friday night. And Night that's starting to cool down a little hot maybe for some at this time of the year.
Here we are in week 6 and it's hot. I mean, what? This is stupid.
It's all right. Sun's going down. We're getting some shade on the field.
Sunday it'll feel like football weather.
It will. But we'll get there tonight. And Boomers welcome the Douglass Trojans into town this week. An interesting contest. Douglass rolls in at 1-4 on the season. They do have a win over Star Spencer, 22-12, but otherwise, they've had a pretty tough schedule facing Crossings Christian, Millwood, Weatherford, also Bridge Creek, and Eric, a team that really wasn't competitive in those games. They've scored over half their points in that Star Spencer game on the season, been shut out twice, scored 6 in a couple of those losses. But it's also a very young team, a Douglass team that only brings 5 seniors into tonight. They're going to start a lot of sophomores, a couple of juniors, some freshmen. The two of the 5 seniors do start in Zias Lamar and DeMontre Hurd. They're the linebackers. We'll see Lamar also at running back. And it's a team, Eric, when you watch them on film, they run more of a modern offense. You'll see pistol looks, you'll see shotgun looks, kind of your typical, 2-receiver, 3-receiver sets. They just don't quite have that identity figured out yet, it seems like.
Yeah, and luckily for the Boomers, our identity has been the defense. And so you're going up against an offense who struggled scoring points this year. They don't really have an identity. This is a perfect opportunity for the Boomer defense to really kind of show, I'm not going to say show what we can be because we have seen what they can be. But this is a great opportunity for them to go out and truly make that statement and, control the game for the Boomers.
As far as the matchup between these two squads, first time since 2011, and you think, okay, well, they just haven't been opponents. Consistently, they were district opponents pretty consistently in about a 20-game or 20-year stretch there. And the last meeting was actually a playoff meeting when they were non-district opponents. Boomers did defeat Douglass in that one, playoff thriller 20-19. This is meeting number 20 on the series. So overall, what am I trying to say? Woodward holds that lead on it 11-8, so they've got that advantage. But we'll see how tonight goes with that. You never know. Well, you've got that long of a layoff between teams matching up in the series. As far as the head coach for Douglass, that'd be Damon Turner. In his second year, he took over the program last year. They weren't 0-10, but again, still had a young team. He's got some pretty good credentials, I would say. He was a star and all-state player at Carl Albert back in the day in his playing days. Went on to play college ball at Wyoming. He was an assistant on the Edmond CFA staff for a long time, and has been a part of state championships, not only as a player, but as a coach as well, assistant. So he brought in the experience to this Douglass program to try to get them turned around. And we know how that goes, Eric. We've seen it with our own eyes. It's not an easy process. It's a day-by-day deal.
Yeah, it's not an easy process, and I gotta think it's somewhat harder for a program like Douglass, just because you have multiple feeder schools. Just because of your environment. Woodward, we have an opportunity to go work with the younger kids and start building them up from a young age. It's a little bit harder. When you're in an urban environment like that, you might be able to pull in kids when they get to the high school level. So, he definitely has his work cut out for him.
That he does. Well, we were able to get thoughts from Coach Gordon on the Coaches Show this week about how the players have fared so far this season for the Boomers, and, of course, the matchup ahead. So let's step aside for our first break, and we'll come back hearing those thoughts from Coach Gordon from this week's Coaches Show. You're listening on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Every family has a story filled with chapters of love, laughter, and dreams for the future. But what if one day you're not there to help write the next chapter? Life is unpredictable, but your love for your family shouldn't be. With State Farm Life Insurance, Gwayne Matthews and Woodward can help ensure your story continues, even when you're not there to turn the page. Protect the chapters yet to come. Talk to Gwayne Matthews, because your story deserves to be told.
Welcome back to the Boomer pregame show on Z92 and Boomer TV. Let's check in now with head coach Ken Gordon, who joined us on the Boomer Coaches Show Wednesday night at Long Shots. My team so far in the season and the matchup ahead with Douglass tonight.
Those younger guys who just go out there and play, do you think that's helped guys like
is that kickoff return that we took to the house. I'm like, that's the only play that matters. If it was kickoff, do is play one time. Is that kickoff return that we took to the house. I'm like, that's the only play that matters. If it was kickoff, do is play one play at a time. And, you know, those guys see that. You know, you just, I mean, like I said, you just growing.
Yeah.
You know, you see them getting better, you know, and like I tell them all the time, we're better with our record, it says, but it is what it is. That's what it is. So how do we change that? You know, we continue to play because it's hard to win. It's hard to win, but if you don't play hard, you for sure not going to win.
Right.
You know, so I just tell them just keep playing hard. And I mean, we had a great week of practice, you know, and those guys been ready to go. You know, they've been focused, they've been locked in. You know, you just see the growth, you know, and so. And it's everybody, you know, it's those older guys are doing a good job. It's the young guys. I mean, you know, and I was talking to Mason Bourne today. He was talking about a block punt. And he was like, Coach, I was going in there. I was just scared I was going to hit the punter. I said, this is the deal. If I call punt block, I'm saying punt block for a reason. So if you hit the punter, who cares? Right. That's why I call punt block. I said, if I don't want to hit the punter, then I just call safe. That's what that means. He go, oh. So you don't care if I hit the punter? I'm like, no.
Get your finger on the ball.
That's the only way That's the only way you're going to be able to get a block. You know, so I said this.
I hit the punter first before the ball.
Yeah, and I'm just like, if we call block this week, don't worry about hitting the punter. Just go. Yeah. And if you hit the punter and you don't hit the ball, then we just get the defense back on the field and then we play defense. That's all you got to do. It's part of football.
And you know that senior group, touched on a little bit. They've bought in despite the fact knowing that, hey, you know, it's just maybe not quite our time to have the whole surrounding cast. It's building up. Yeah. Not quite there, but it seems like they're determined still. Talk about that group and just, you know, the fact that they have done a good job to try to lay that foundation for you.
Yeah, and I've told those guys, you know, like I said, I feel bad for them, but I also told those guys that, you know, when this thing do turn, it's because of those guys. You know, because the few that we have that stuck with it, you know, and knew what we was going through, you know, they're going to be the main reason. They're going to be that brick that got this thing started, you know, and those young guys, they're not going to forget those older guys, you know, and so, but they mean a lot because, you know, and then when I say mean a lot, their attitudes have been great. Their attitudes have been great. You know, it hasn't been like, oh, well, poor me, I'm a senior, I'm not going to get, you know, their attitude is like, hey, let's go out here and work. Let's go out here and get ready for the next game. Let's go have a great practice. Let's have fun in practice. And that's what they've been doing. You know, they've been awesome. I mean, it's been awesome. You know, they're good with those young guys. You know, you wouldn't be able to tell that, hey, I'm the senior, you're the freshman, you're the sophomore. They don't even get caught up in all that. They're together and they just play. They just have a great time together. And that's what it's all about, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all about winning for all of us. And that's what I told them. I said, look, I was proud of you guys, but this is not our standard. We got to figure a way to break through this wall and get that W, you know, and we're going to continue to work. You guys continue to do what you're doing, and you're going to continue to get better, but you have to believe that you're getting better. And I think they see that they're getting better. You know.
Coach, this week, back at home, friendly confines Boomer Stadium. Peak out nights, you're going to have some excitement there, of course. Everybody gets up for that. And you get a Douglass team that is kind of in a spot where they're trying to build right under Coach Turner. I went to last year, got a one-star Spencer this year, but have struggled otherwise. And I know you're big on focusing on yourselves, but this is a game that is a chance for you guys, as me and Eric mentioned at the top show, kind of put it all together. So you mentioned a great week of practice. What's really been the focus for you guys in practice this week?
It's been getting better as a group, as Woodward. You know, we understand that we have Douglass coming into town, and what I told those guys, like, look, you know, don't listen to the outside noise. That's the first thing I told them. Don't listen to what people's telling you that, hey, this should be a W for you. You know, don't worry. So all you need to worry about is how we get better, how do we make the corrections that we talked about, hurt us in cash, and how do we continue to build on what we've been doing. And as long as we continue to build on what we've been doing and continue to get better, all right, everything else will take care of itself.
And it looks like this team is getting real close to playing 4 quarters of good football. We've seen halves of it. We've seen 3 quarters of it. Been trying to get them to get it all together for that one game. I know that's tough to do, especially when we talk about you still on this team. How do you get them kind of over the top on that?
Well, it starts at practice. How can we put a whole practice together? Because if you can't put a whole practice together, you're not going to be able to put a whole 4 quarters together. So, we're continuing this, so tomorrow, how can we finish with a great walkthrough? How can we continue to be focused throughout this whole walkthrough, both sides, That's how you continue and to build on putting 4 quarters together. It all starts in practice. And, they've done a great job this week. They have for 2 days now. I say 2 days, 3 days. We did a mental day on Monday. And they've done a good job of just locking in on what we have to do. They did a great job on Tuesday and Wednesday. They're going out and being physical. We got after it again this week. And then tomorrow, can we finish up a mental day, our mental walkthrough with starting with special teams and going through offensive team and defensive team and then getting ready for Friday. But we still have a lot of work to do before Friday, but how do we finish up with that?
With that, we thank Coach Gordon for his thoughts and head back to Boomer Stadium as the Boomer pregame show rolls along.
And good to hear from Coach Gordon, his thoughts about the matchup coming into tonight. Aaron, one of the big deals we kind of talked about within that, of course, is those seniors. We talked about with CJ, these guys, we mentioned a few of them, Douglas Fisher, Latal, Roberts, both Boren and Boring. Like, those guys have been grinding, and Coach said, hey, they're laying the foundation this year for, we talk about this ain't turning around. They're the guys that are really putting that block down, if you will. Yeah,
they're laying the foundation. And I think it's also kind of great how, a lot of the other playmakers we've seen this year, have been some of these young kids that are just going out there and play. So it's kind of balancing things out where these older guys can sit there. They can kind of be the mature leaders, but they don't have to be doing everything on the field as well. It kind of takes some of that pressure off, and it adds a little bit of that balance as a part of this growing program. And I think a lot of these young guys are going to be able to look back here in 2 or 3 years and say, yeah, we weren't very good then, but those guys helped us out. Those guys made us better. You say it in practice, you got to go out there, you got to do the work, and you got to try to make everybody better. And I think, I think the seniors have been able to do that for this Boomer team.
Absolutely. Well, had some games last night, had about a dozen or so on hand in the area, and had a couple of the district games. So Clinton matched up with Oak City last night. They got the win 24-21 in a tight game. Weatherford, they flew past Cache 39-0. The other district game going on tonight, along with this Woodward Douglass game, is Elgin. They're playing at Bridge Creek tonight. We'll see what the Bobcats could try to do. So looks like we might be getting ready for the national anthem here as we get ready for peak out. Yep, so national anthem right here.
Before playing our national anthem, we will recognize a moment of silence so that you may, if you choose, reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in other silent activity. Please be respectful of others during this moment of silence. And now, at this time, please remain standing and face the American flag in the south end zone as the pride of Northwest Oklahoma, your Boomer Band, plays our beloved national anthem.
And there was the Boomer Band with the national anthem. And Eric, as I was saying, the only other district game, of course, tonight besides this one, Elgin, Bridge Creek. Some other big games, though, in the area as far as Northwest Oklahoma goes. Alva, the Gold Bugs on the road against a very tough test, probably their toughest since Fairview. They take on an undefeated Stroud team who's made the leap from A to Class 2A to A2. Fairview hosts Crescent for homecoming there at Fairview Moreland. We get Michael Barnes rolling into Woodward County, as we talked about. He's with the Mangum squad. They're coming into Moreland tonight, so that'll be a big-time matchup. Winoka trying to deal with Tyrone from the Panhandle. So a couple of those, some of our other area teams. Sealing got a big win last night, 50-28 over the O'Keene Whippets on the road to begin their district contest. O'Keene was undefeated, no longer. Shag, they also raced past Ringwood 60-0. So plenty of action to go around in the tri-state as a whole. So if you want to keep up with that for sure, definitely tune in to Friday Night Quick Scores over on K101. Pull up the stream on Boomer TV, listen to Quick Scores, however you want to do it. And, of course, Woodward, as we talked about, Pink Out Night, going with a bit of a different jersey combination. Got the black and pink. That'll cause a few number changes that we're catching up with. Luke Parkhurst goes from number 1 to number 10. Luke Talley now number 15 instead of number 13. You'll see Reese Durkee as number 38 instead of his usual 74. Bowen Morton goes from 44 to 42. And that's kind of the bigger ones there.
Zaylen Flores
going to 61 for 56. And so that's kind of a rundown of that.
We'll
and a few others, if we see them, we'll let you know as far as if that winds up being some of that playing time. Well, let's go ahead and get you to our Dwayne Matthews, State Farm agent, starting lineups. And really, big don't want to mention here along the line, Eric, you're going to have Corfin Zamarco, Trey Oyasarodi continue at the left and right tackle for the Boomers, but we get back Drake Roberts this week. He's back from injury. He'll be at that right guard spot. See John Ortega at center, probably a combination at left guard of some Adrian Cruz and some other guys stepping up in that sense. Still going to continue, obviously, with Ryan Douglas Fisher, quarterback, Cooper Latar, running back, Mason Bourne, Colt Moore, Jay Graff, all on the outside receiver, as well as a bit of Luke Parkhurst. And that receiver bunch, I mean, especially Jay Graff, Colt Moore, we talked about them, the seniors, those two guys, the sophomores, have been doing some big-time work here.
Yeah, and seeing those guys continue to gain confidence and know what they can be and really what's expected for them, going forward. Because a lot of times as a young guy, you're kind of in that in-between range of, you're going to get your number called at times, but what's going to be expected. Well, now you're starting to see that consistency of that the coaching staff trusts to throw the ball to you, and so they're going to be coming to you. Well, they're only sophomores. Now they can go into their junior year and their senior year saying, hey, we're going to be the guys that are going to be expected to step up on the outside.
And on the defensive side, speaking of those young guys continue to step up, Levi Harris, we saw him make that move from linebacker, outside linebacker, to more of a defensive end look, and no surprise, very successful in its first iteration of that last week. Reese Durkee, we mentioned him, has been fantastic as a freshman. Trip Bates playing maybe not 100% tonight, but he's still going to be giving it a go, and is always a tough one as a young sophomore. And of course, Bo Moore, another one of those sophomores, doing a great job. Casey Moore in the middle has been a great hammer for this team. Seeing Mason Arnold, the junior, make a couple big plays. Got to calm down maybe a little bit after the big plays, but he's definitely made a couple. And that secondary, Jay Graff, Mason Bourne, Colt Moore, Colin Bourne, and Cooper Latal, Dominique Gordon, all kind of taking their mix back there and doing a pretty good job over the top. So as we're getting to the coin toss here, I do want to mention for Douglass, the kind of the big guys to watch out for in their starting lineup. Kamari Perry, the quarterback, the young sophomore, will lead this offense. We mentioned with CJ, the Zias Lamar, running back, one of the two seniors that starts on the outside. A good little group of receivers for them. And Zamaria Ziegler and Quanzez Ziegler and Darius Tubbs, excuse me, all very intriguing targets on the outside. And then the tight end, Cadis Vick, you'll see him a little bit, just a freshman. So only two seniors in this Douglass offense, the rest juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. So look at our Dwayne Matthews State Farm starting lineups. Talk with State Farm agent Dwayne Matthews about creating a personal price plan to help you save money and protect yourself and your loved ones. Visit them 1400 9th Street in Woodward. So Woodward going to start on defense after winning the toss and deferring. No surprise there, Eric.
Yeah, that's kind of been the bread and butter. That's what they want to do. you know, every time we talk about ask Coach Gordon what do we need to do, he always basically says, you know, let's come out fast in defense. You know, that's, again, like we said, that has become our identity. Our identity is defense. They have shown they can make some, so might as well try to get the momentum with them as well.
Definitely so. Other Boomer news, I want to mention, of course, we talked about the cross-country team doing really well at OB weekend up in Enid. Well, they'll head to Watonga tomorrow to try to continue their streak. Both the boys and the girls performing to work towards getting to state. Miss Zoe Roberts, man, what a couple weeks she's had, Eric. Was named Miss Cinderella at Northwestern last Friday, and then this week named to the All-Region West team for the Oklahoma State Dance Teachers and Directors Association. So congrats to Zoe on that. And this was something you were kind of telling me about before we went on there. It's really cool. Dr. Joey Miller, former Boomer, she was inducted into the Oklahoma chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame on Sunday. So honored with the Outstanding American Award. That is, I mean, that's huge. That's you know, Boomer making, as you pointed out, not just state history in the state, but on a national level, really being a big-time pioneer.
Yeah, you know, and that's exactly how, you know, Coach Weatherhead, Jared Weatherhead, the wrestling coach here right now, you know, was talking to him a little bit about it today, and he's like, man, that's amazing. And he kind of was the one who said, you know, she didn't. It's not just Oklahoma, but she's a pioneer in female wrestling within the nation. I remember, and man, I was probably 5th or 6th grade when this happened, but you know, so she was just starting youth wrestling, and she was on I think it was Good Morning America.
Oh wow!
Because of what she was able to do, you know, as a girl wrestling against boys at that age, you know, so she is definitely a pioneer, and it's awesome that we can say that she's a Boomer.
Yeah, it's very neat for sure. And speaking of honoring Boomers, past, present, tickets for the Hall of Fame banquet ceremony, they are on sale. Your deadline is October 16th, so that's 5 days from now.
Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday, I believe. Do the math in my head, yeah, probably. yes.
Middle of the week.
Wednesday, because the 17th is Thursday, and that's game time next week. So Wednesday, get those tickets. Of course, the banquet ceremony coming up on October 27th. That's a Sunday, 1 o'clock. And it'll be at the Woodward Conference Center. So get those tickets, purchase them. Honoring, as far as this year's inductees, Chad Mead with football, Joe Armstrong, girls basketball, Steve Hildebrand, and baseball, Dale Pierce, Randy Nelson, Ken Ray Leonard, all of track and field. As far as the educators and teams, the 1977 girls basketball team, the 1994 state champion football team, educators Linda Harrison, Steve Foster, Cheryl Lucas, and James Photographics as a contributor. So definitely want to be there for that. Get those tickets. Deadline is Wednesday. So Eric, as we get ready for the last couple minutes here before teams get introduced and we get to the game, what's the big keys for the Boomers tonight? Being able to try to come out here with the first win of the season.
Well, like I said, I think everything's going to really ultimately come down to the defense. And you know, we know that Douglass is going to have athletes on their offensive side. There's not going to be any surprises there. So, you know, just containing the big play. That's one thing that the Boomers have struggled at times this year, is the big play. You know, so not allowing the big play on the defensive side, and then the offensive side, just to continue to build on the things you've done well the past couple weeks. You know, and just get in the end zone.
And we've seen it really develop, you know, in the passing game. We've had some real explosive plays there. The run game last week, for the most part, you know, when some of those holes were there, Cooper Littall's making some really nice cuts. And it's credit to the offensive line. I'm curious to see how that rolls now that we get back Drake Roberts tonight. We saw Trey Oyas already step in, really kind of help stabilize things in the tackle spot. Because of that, as we mentioned in the starting lineups, those guys will continue at the tackles.
Yeah, and you know, and that's a lot of the reason why that change was made, to put, you know, move Cooper from wide receiver back into the backfield and, you know, let him run the ball a little bit, is because he does see the field so well. He is able to kind of pick out the smaller holes, and, you know, doesn't try to do too much. He's very much a downhill runner, you know, but if he sees something, he'll make that cut, you know. So that's been one of the great adjustments that the Boomer coaching staff has made this year, you know, to continue to try to build some momentum.
And the Boomers coming out of the tunnel there to a raucous section of course, cheerleaders and the band members, the students. Everybody decked out in pink tonight as much as possible. The Boomers wearing the black jerseys, black pants, as well as the pink numbers, lettering, a little bit of white around that, and then the pink on the shoulders. Still got the black helmet with the white W and numbers on them. Douglass tonight on the road wearing the white tops, the orange bottoms, the orange numbers and text trimmed in black. They will have the black helmets with the Douglass Trojan logo on each side of it. And of course, we got the pink W tonight, so that's always cool to see. And everybody decked out, including the band members for sure. So always awesome to see everybody get out for pink out night. And man, Boomer defense will take it first. And this Douglass offense, we mentioned a little bit modern, right? You're going to see kind of a lot of the similar things Woodward wants to do. But with that, Eric, I mean, you think, okay, well, that's easy to defend, but sometimes it's not so much. You got to be on the ball knowing your reads.
Well, and that's, you know, we talked about assignment football several times with Dodge City and, you know, in Alva, but, you know, you still got to do that, especially when you're going to get up against a team where they're more focused about putting athletes in the right spots. It's not about skills for them as much as it is hey, we got some athletes. We're just going to put them in the places we need to try to move the ball. You know, so that's where the Boomers have got to be smart and not try to do too much. And for the most part, this defense has done a really good job of, you know, not overplaying things. You know, just, hey, this is the guy I've got to go after, you know, and also just finding the ball. You know, there are many times where you're going to see, you know, the Boomers just swarming all over the ball.
Ryan Douglas Fisher on to kick things off for the Boomers as the Trojans get lined up themselves in their return game. Wind, for the most part, pretty calm, maybe a couple miles an hour. Old Glory not really waving too hard, and settling down in terms of the temperatures tonight should be about right for some football. Zamarius Ziegler returning for Douglas Steep, the young sophomore, the receiver and defensive back. This crowd's filled in. Band's ready to go, cheerleaders ready to go, and the Boomers are ready to go as there's the whistle and the kick by Douglas Fisher. We are underway at Boomer Stadium. This kick able to slant its way, just out of bounds on the left part of the sideline. Thought it was going to roll into the end zone, not the case. So the first kick for Douglas Fisher sails out of bounds.
Yeah, that went out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. So, you know, great job by the Douglas returner to, you know, recognize that, hey, I'm over here by the sideline. Let's see what happens. And, unfortunately for the Boomers, it did take that little kick to the left and roll out of bounds.
And there to potentially return it was the junior Quandez Ziegler. He let it roll. So Douglas will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line to begin the game. As we'll see Kamari Perry, the sophomore quarterback, 5'10", only $154, still trying to fill out his frame. This will be in the pistol. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and now tight end motions to the left side. It's Vic. Bit of a high snap. Flag comes out on the snap. The handoff underneath on the outside to the 45 to the 50. That's Tyler Jones, the senior receiver. They moved him to running back. He picks up the first down for now, but we'll see what the flag is. This might be coming back. That came out on the snap, and sure enough, a false start against Douglas to negate the first down run, and Douglas starts going backwards. As instead of a 1st and 10 near the 50, it's going to be 1st and 15 for the Trojans. Mentioned Zias Lamar, senior, that will feature it back for them a bit. Another senior, Tyler Jones, as we just talked about. A bit more of a scat back. Lighter guy compared to Zias Lamar, who stands closer to 200 pounds.
I had to go get my cheat sheet over there. I think that was more of an illegal formation than it was a false start, because they do have that same signal.
Fair enough.
But that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm going to go look at my cheat sheet.
Snap to Perry underneath. Again, a handoff to Jones. A flag comes out again as Jones gets across the 35, back near the 40. Decent game, but the flag came out in the run of play. This might be a holding.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold. I think one of the Boomers basically got pulled down and
blocking the back, they say. Okay.
Which I think it, from what, if they were seeing what I was seeing, I think it's going on the same guy where basically he had him taken down, but he was from behind. But either way.
So, Eric, this is, we talked about the young team for Douglass, back-to-back penalties to start the game, negating what would have been good gains on the ground.
Yeah, and, on that play right there, that's just the play of they got beat by the Boomers. We've talked, Coach Gordon on the coach show this week talked about, holding penalties is because you're working hard. Yeah, you got beat on the play, but you're working hard as well. And I think that's kind of what happened there. One thing the Boomers are going to have to do is, like we said, don't try to do too much. Both of those plays, they've been able to pick up good yardage because the Boomers are, trying to go in there and get the big hit.
So 1st and 23 now for Douglass. Another snap and handoff to Jones. This time swallowed up by the Boomers. And underneath in on the tackle, looked to be Bowen Morton first contact as he got in there and took down Jones.
Yeah, Bowen Morton really kind of blew it up. And that was one of the first time I was like, that doesn't look like the right number. I had to go check. Bowen is wearing a different number tonight. So, but great job by Bowen Morton to, jump in there in the backfield and make a play.
So that brings up 2nd and 23 for the Trojans on their own 11:15 to go in the first quarter. It's the first drive of the game for either team, so we're still scoreless.
This is what early flags does to a team, and it backs you up, and then it gives the defense a little bit of extra confidence, and, I think that's what the Boomers got there.
Perry in the pistol, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, motioning out. Jones in the backfield, Perry back to pass, quick hit over the middle, incomplete, intended for Zamarius Ziegler. Had it in his hands on the quick slant, couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, that's Boomer's going to have to really pay attention to that because, and the Douglass coaching staff recognized that, hey, on the front, the defensive front is really getting that push. We got to get the ball out quick. If he would have made that catch, who knows how many yards he could have picked up there.
Ziegler, not bad little sophomore. Been able to make some plays this season, 5'8", 180. As brings up 3rd and 24 for Douglass, 10:57 remains first quarter. Perry in the pistol, one receiver to the right, 2 to the left, tight end on the right side as well. Jones in the backfield, snap to Perry, another quick hitter, a little tunnel screen to Zamarius Ziegler, catches underneath, gets up to about the 25 before he's laid with a clean hit, and a short gain brings up 4th and long for Douglass.
I'm trying to think. I think Brody Province. Is that Brody Province or was that? That was Mason Arnold actually came in there and kind of made a stick. Kind of stayed him up for a second, allow everybody else to move in there.
I saw Arnold have a couple of nice hits last week, so he's headhunting a little bit now.
And that's the thing. You get a couple and you start getting some confidence.
And the punt for Douglass, bit of a low one, roll over, not even going to go to the first down marker, what Douglass would have needed to get at the 45. So the Boomers will take over with very, very good field position for their first offensive possession.
And that's, Coach Gordon kind of mentioned, where he's talking about the punt block. He mentioned that during the coach's show. And I wondered if maybe he was talking about this week as opposed to last week. Last week we had an opportunity several times to get a punt block, but I wondered if he was kind of hinting at the fact that, hey, this week we're going to go at them on punt blocks.
That was a Pioneer defensive stand for the Boomers as they'll take over 1st and 10 at the Douglass 45, 10:17 to go first quarter. Douglas Fisher in the pistol for the Boomers, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, as well as tight end Lataw in the backfield behind Douglas Fisher. As he stands near the Woodward pink W now, Theron Endersby goes in motion, cross formation to the left side, and Douglas jumps, it looks like. Went with the hard count.
Now, I will say, I think we got away with one because it did look like Endersby maybe briefly kind of jerked just a little bit, but, we'll take it.
I had to ask, we had Theron actually in studio with the shooting sports team on Monday, so I had to ask him about the false starts. And he was kind of maybe blaming Ryan on that. So with the hard counts, I was like, You can't be blaming the QB. Come on. So 1st and 5 now for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher in the pistol. Lataw behind, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. It's a handoff to Lataw up the gut. Decent hole, gets across the 35, fights forward, gets the first down to the, looks like 32 or so. And it is the first down as Lataw picks up a gain of 8 on 1st and 5.
And that's what you got to do. We look like we do have the more physical team on both sides of the ball, which is, we've talked about we're undersized, both against typical teams, and the fact that we do kind of have that size advantage tonight. Let's just pound it.
So 1st and 10 for the Boomers at the 32 now. Wildcat look as Douglas Fisher motions to the right side himself. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. for Littall. Takes the direct snap, trying to find a hole in the outside. Flag does come in as Littall gets across the 30, inside the 30 to the 27. And the flag came out early. It might be a hold coming back. So I like the Wildcat look, but unfortunately, the hold going to negate solid first down yards. Would have been a gain of about 5 or 6. It is indeed a hold on the Boomers.
Yeah, it looked like down around the end, maybe it was Oyasarode. Couldn't quite tell who it was, but he was right. He was right in that vicinity where when it looked like Cooper was going to go straight up the middle, the Douglass guy quickly tried to make a little bit of move, which caught us off guard.
Yeah, it looked like Oyasarode might have thought he was trying to seal it, instead leaked inside. So that'll be 1st and 20 for the Boomers now as Douglas Fisher in the gun. Man goes in motion. It's Graff to the right side. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Littall flanking on the left side. Douglas Fisher back to pass, going with the screenplay of Littall. Catches about the 45, has a block up to the 40, inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. So getting back most of the penalty yards to the 35. 7-yard gain. Just a little screenplay for the Boomers. Still will be 2nd and long. 2nd about 13. As they got to get to the Douglas 22-yard line for the first. 9:19 remains first quarter. Both teams still scoreless. Woodward on their first possession in Douglas territory after a short punt by Douglas. As Douglas Fisher in the pistol for the Boomers. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Endersby goes in motion. Now back to the right side. Littall behind. He motions to the left side. Snap taken by Douglas Fisher. Just a quarterback draw to the right side, the short side. Makes a man miss. Gets across the 25 down to the 20 inside of it for first down. But there is a flag that came out on the play.
Another flag's probably a hold. It came in right as he ran by. So
the first down for the Boomers. Instead, it is indeed another hold. So both teams a little sloppy on the holding calls to start this game. Douglas had one to back them up on their first possession out of the Boomers with back-to-back holds. Or near back-to-back holds, I should say.
Now the first hold on this drive, you were able to respawn and still get some decent yardage on the next play. Just continue to work. Don't think too much about these mistakes you're making, and just keep working.
The good news for the Boomers, the hold was so far upfield, they only lose a yard. Repeating it down. So 2nd and 14. Douglas Fisher in the gun, takes the high snap, look at the pass quick, finds Jake Graff on a slant, he breaks the tackle, loses the ball, and Douglas falls on it. Graff was trying to break some tackles, had it in his hands, and got it loose, and Douglas comes up with a fumble recovery. Unfortunate for the Boomers.
Yeah, unfortunately that was, I think Jake was trying to do a little too much. He had the ball still out away from his body as he made the cut up field. And as soon as a couple guys came in there and made some contact, the ball just kind of popped out.
So 8:47 remaining first quarter. Douglas takes over 1st and 10 at their own 24. See Kamari Perry lead the offense back onto the field, the sophomore, with Tyler Jones in the backfield. Have pistol look, 2 receivers to the right as well as a tight end, 1 receiver to the left. Perry with the snap. Goes for the handoff to Jones, looking to the right side, trying to get past the line of scrimmage, and he's slung down. Trying to see who that made the play off the side. Levi Harris.
Got Levi again.
Ooh.
He's a big, strong kid.
And just playing that end spot, I think, has really been a fun adjustment because Eric E is right there at the line straight away.
Yeah, and him moving to that spot is actually a great spot for him because how athletic he can be. He's a big, strong kid. And that just allows a little bit more explosiveness at that first level.
That's what we saw there. Loss of 2 on the play, they say. So Douglas back to their own 22. 2nd and 12. 8:05 remains first quarter. As the Trojans taking their time in the huddle. They break it with 10 on the play clock. That's Perry in the pistol. Jones behind him. 2 receivers on each side of the formation. Back to pass is Perry. Looking over the middle for a man. Caught and dropped. So incompletion as Devontae McCatherine, the sophomore. It was a little quick hit, tight window, would have had it, but he couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, Boomer defense is going to have to be careful because if he makes that catch, he might get run down from behind, but there was actually at the time nobody between him and the end zone.
And just attack kind of that seam in the zone. And Perry with the solid throw. Put it in the window.
But I think part of what he saw, though, was that was a great read by both Boring and Boren. And I think he kind of saw them both coming at him, and that kind of took his eyes off the ball for a second.
3rd and 12 for the Trojans. Pistol look, 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Perry back to pass again. Looking over the middle. This one incomplete as it was behind his intended receiver. Boomers in the area as well. Looking for Quanez Ziegler, who ran a bit more inside than what Perry thought he was going to get.
Kingston Phillips actually had a great read on that. He just went up, tried to make a catch. It was just a little bit out of his reach, but you like to see a kid like Kingston, who's kind of been coming on the past several weeks, playing well at linebacker, making that good read.
So it forces another punt for Douglass with 7:48 remaining first quarter. There's a snap, clean, and it is blocked by the Boomers, and it's on the ground live. The Boomers fall on it, and it's going to be deep in Douglass territory inside the 25. The special teams gets it done with the pump block. It's Pioneer defensive stand. Unleash tomorrow's potential with Pioneer Fiber in it. Get speed and reliability. Surf Stream. Stay connected with Pioneer Fiber, powering the Pioneer defensive stand all season. So, hey, maybe there was a focus on the punt block this week, Eric.
Yeah, I really think there was. I think they recognized on film that, we by far have the advantage up front in those situations. Now, one thing the Boomers got to do, and we struggled with this throughout the years, take advantage of the opportunities that are given to us. This is great field position. We've got to put points on the board here. 1st and
10 for the Boomers at the Douglass 24. Ryan Douglas Fisher in the gun by himself. Quads to the left side of the formation. Tied in on the right side. Enders beat. Bit of a high snap. Douglas Fisher corrals it. Looks to run to that right side, and a flag does come out as Douglas Fisher just has to go out of bounds about a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage. This will be an interesting decision here for Douglass. It's going to be a hold on the Boomers. But if you're Douglass, do you decline this and keep it second and long, or do you take the 1st and 20?
The way the Boomers have moved the – so here's what you got to think about. The Boomers really haven't done a very good job of moving the ball, but they've had opportunities, because of holdings and things like that. It's backed them up. So I say they backed them up because you've got to kind of give as much room between the Boomers and we also know that Ryan Douglas Fisher can kick the ball. So you kind of take him out of field goal range at this point with that penalty as well.
Fair point for sure. So 1st and 20 now for Woodward. 7:36 remains first quarter. Still scoreless between the teams, as holdings have hurt the Boomers. First, Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Latal in the backfield with Douglas Fisher. He's looking to pass, looking right side one-on-one for Colt Moore. Deep down the sideline. Skying forward and broken up. Moore had a shot at it. Good coverage from Zamari Ziegler, the sophomore, to break that up.
Yeah, I think that was one of those great play. Great play all around. Those ball was thrown, really put in the perfect spot. Colt went up, tried to high point it, but the defense made a great play. There's nothing you can really do about it.
2 sophomores going at it down the sideline. So 2nd and 20 for the Boomers after the incompletion. The deep shot to the end zone. As Douglas Fisher takes the gun look again, trips to the left side, 1 to the right. Latal in the backfield, flanking on the right side. Douglas Fisher, again, a high snap, pulls it down, looking to run on the quarterback draw, finds some pressure immediately, though, and taken out of bounds for a short gain as tracking him down was Cadis Vick, the freshman, strung that one out.
Yeah, I think I keep forgetting because of the penalty, we're only on 3rd down.
Right.
I had in my head that we're in 4th down. I was about to say, I think we're in 4th down territory. So I'm going to go ahead and preemptively say it just in case. I think if the Boomers don't pick it up here, they're going to go for it on 4th down.
And you're at a spot where Ryan could probably get it there on the leg, but the accuracy may wane, but deep, if you will, on the field goal. So probably the right call there. It's Douglas Fisher in the gun, trips to the left again, 1 to the right. Latal, right side, flanky Douglas Fisher. 3rd and 19 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher back to pass, trying to step up the pocket. He's under pressure. He'll go down. It's a sack as the pocket collapsed in on the Boomers. And it'll be 4th and long as it backs up to about the 37.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ryan missed an opportunity there because there was busted coverage. Nobody picked up Luke Talley, who was going right up the seam. I think they would have hit him. He'd have been wide open for a touchdown.
So now it makes it 4th and 23 for the Boomers. 6:15 to go first quarter. Still scoreless. Trips to the left, 1 to the right. Latal flanking left side. And just a little pooch punt, a little drop punt a la Pittsburgh Steelers. As this taking a decent roll down inside the 10 to about the 9 before anybody touches it. The Boomers down it. So, well, with the little drop punt, not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would have rather have gone for it, but at the same time, your defense is playing well. You've already got them backed up to the 10 at this point, so I might as well go in there and do something. Things are already getting a little chippy down there, and so the refs have done a good job, I think, of letting them try to work it out. But we might be seeing some unsportsmanlike here coming up here in the next few minutes.
Well, let's hope not the case. Don't want to see that, but you're right. They were getting a little chippy already. So first and 10 for Douglass at their own 10. 6:02 remains first quarter. Perry in the gun. One receiver to the left, one to the right. Man in the backfield with him is Jones. They go with a little sweep toss to him, and they don't get anywhere. Is blowing that up on the backside. Looked to be Zaylen Flores, just cut underneath the pool.
Yeah, we've talked about the maturity and the players who have gotten better throughout the year. I think Zaylen is one of those who's definitely been in that conversation over the past several weeks. He's really stepped up, and when he was on the coach show, we talked to him a little bit about making the transition from 8-man to 11-man. And I think some of his a little bit of a slow start came from that. Now he's really stepping up.
4-yard loss on the play for Douglass. So 5. Second and 15 from their own 5. As Perry in the pistol, receiver each side. A bit of a high snap, handed off to Jones. Has an initial hole, but the Boomers able to rally to him and push him back. Got maybe a couple. And a late flag comes in. You had warned of some unsportsmanlike, and one did come in there.
Yep, I think that's what we just saw. I didn't see what happened.
I didn't see any crazy extracurriculars. For now, it looks to be about a gain of 2 for the Trojans, pending the call after the run from Jones. We'll see what the discussion is. It looked like it was well away from the play. It's been downfield on some blocks.
Well, and there's actually a flag also in the backfield I'm seeing down there now. So I think there may be 2 different flags there.
Might be.
I didn't see the one in the backfield until just now.
Sportsmanlike against the Boomers and against Douglass. So offsetting penalties there.
Okay.
So that's a warning to both of those players.
Or maybe that's just a pink towel that's laying. But there's something pink in the backfield, but nobody's picking it up.
Okay,
So maybe it's just
you're right. It's probably a towel. But either way, had offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties. And Douglass winds up gaining about 4 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 11 on the run from Jones.
Now that flag was picked up. So.
Okay. It was a flag, not a towel.
They apparently saw the same thing.
As 3rd and 11 for the Trojans. Perry in the pistol, looking to pass. The quick out, finding Zamari Ziegler caught behind the line of scrimmage. Has a break out of a tackle. The Boomers swarm it to him, though, and slinging him down behind the line of scrimmage. Nearly the whole team wound up over there on the pursuit.
And that's what I was talking about the way the Boomers swarmed to the ball. That was a perfect example of it right there. And basically the Boomers, what they're doing is when they recognize that, hey, the tackle wasn't made right away, we're going at it. We have seen this year where the Boomers have struggled tackling the ball carrier. So, they've done a good job of adjusting to that, saying, hey, everybody's got to go after them. Here's a great opportunity. The Boomers going to get the push, get a hand on the ball here. With them standing in the end zone.
They've already got one block punt already on Jordan Hawkins, the freshman. So he's back again in his own end zone deep. 4th and 17 for Douglass at their own 3. We're waiting on there we go. They had to reset the play clock. Game clock down to about 4:10 in the first quarter. See if the Boomers sell out here. They do. This, though, a clean punt, though not very long, as it takes a hard bounce near the 30. Latal able to field off the bounce. Races down the sideline, the 20, the 10, the 5, trying to dive for the end zone. Didn't get there, and a flag did come out on the return. So for now, it looks like Latal all the way down to the 2, maybe the 1. Likely, though, this is coming back.
Yeah, I don't know if the official saw something I couldn't see from up here. Obviously, he's got a better vantage point. To me, it looked like there was a clean block, but there may have been a slight grab in there that warranted the flag.
So good to know if you're the Boomers. Hey, they might be calling holding a bit tight tonight. We know it's kind of like an umpire in baseball, right? Each guy is going to have, or each person is going to have their own kind of way about it. Strike zone may be a little bit altered, so you got to adjust that if you're the Boomers.
Yeah, I think every sport is kind of that one of those things where I remember basketball all the time. I tell the kids, hey, some guys are going to call it differently than others. I mean, I know we have a kid who plays travel ball in the city all the time. They call it a lot different than they do up here in rural Oklahoma, you know, and so you've got to always adjust to what you have making the calls that night.
So instead of at the 2, the Boomers take over at the Douglass 31. Still great field position with 3:54 remaining first quarter. As Douglas Fisher in the gun, goes with a quick handoff to Latal, trying to find a hole up the middle, skates across the 25, pushed down about the 24. So a solid gain on first down for Latal, sets the Boomers up with 2nd and short.
I think it was a pretty good sell right there by Ryan Douglas as well. You know, where Jake Graff was the one who kind of went to a spot and looked like he was ready to catch it, you know, as well. So the defense still had to wait to make sure. Oh. Throwing me off here.
Sorry, I was trying to get the light.
Space, and so it's kind of.
Yeah. 3:15 to go first quarter. Another high snap for Douglas Fisher. This time swings out to Moore in the flat. Makes a man miss in the backfield, trying to get to the first down stick. Does. It's going to be close on top of that.
I think he's a little short, unfortunately.
Got to about the 21, and he needed maybe the 20 and a half, if there's such a thing.
But Coach Gordon and the coaches show talking about Moore and how he's shifty, and that was a perfect example of it on that play where first guy, you know, he just turned his hips just right and made the guy miss.
So we'll say 3rd and 1 from the 22 for the Boomers. Douglas is 22. 2:40 remaining first quarter. It's still scoreless. Douglas Fisher in the pistol. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Tight end on the left side, and then the backfield, Latal. As the snap straight to Latal, has the space, cuts out to the left side, looking for the edge, gets to the 15, the 10, falls forward there, and out of bounds. Cooper Latal, nice run, gets the first down, sets the Boomers up with near first and goal.
And we got another.
Oh, got another flag. Right in the backfield yet again. God.
I didn't see it, looked up, saw the flag, and knew exactly that it was going to be a holding call. You know, and a couple of Boomers looking around like, what did I do? Trying to figure out what happened. But
again, if they're going to call it snug, you got to be ready for that. You got to release a little quicker. And that can be tough as a lineman. I've been there. You know, you get a guy moving, you think you're moving, all of a sudden he jerks a little bit, and oh, you're tugging the jersey. So got to be careful.
Well, and it's also one of those where, you know, if you're the Boomers, you have an advantage.
Not only in size, but roster size. Only 43 players dressed out for Douglas.
You have that advantage. You know you're going to be able to move a guy, so you get a little excited.
So instead of 3rd and 1, or first down, I should say, 3rd and 11 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the right side, as well as a tight end. 1 to the left, it's Moore. And in the backfield, Latal. Douglas Fisher rolls to the right side, looking to pass. Has Cash Carter in flat. Instead goes for Graff over the top. Graff hauls in the one-handed grab.
Holy cow.
Just on the run, Jake Graff, the one-handed grab all the way down to looks like the 2, maybe the 3.
Man, that was impressive. It's still taking me a minute to say, did he really catch that? But, you know, great job by you.
Another flag. Wow. Another holding. So negate the big play. And another holding. Would have been all the way down to the 3. But instead, it's going to be 3rd and 21. That's tough. So now, again, we've said it. Clearly, they're calling this tight in terms of the holding. So you've really got to be on it if you're Woodward and make sure that you're releasing quicker.
Yeah,
you can't let that extension happen.
Now, I will say one thing, to kind of trying to watch the defensive line. And I'm not, you know, 100, you know, obviously 100% football guy. I can't, you know, but they're not just trying to blow straight up the middle. Their defensive linemen are all over the place.
Right.
And
so
I think that's really
feet maybe a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of catching us off guard a little bit.
So 3rd and 21 instead of 1st and goal at the 3 for Woodward as Douglas Fisher in the gun. Trips to the left, 1 to the right. Back to pass on 3rd and 21 under some immediate pressure. Just tries to flip it forward. And that's going to be, I think, an intentional grounding. I don't even think he was out of the tackle box.
Yeah, they haven't thrown a flag down yet.
They haven't thrown a flag. Maybe they won't.
I don't think we had anybody around.
Nobody was in the area that I saw, and it did not get back to line of scrimmage. Coach Turner's arguing for the intentional grounding. Yeah. Oh, there they go. Now they discuss it and confirm. So there is the intentional grounding. So penalties rack up on the Boomers and going to force a long 4th down punt.
And that's, like I said, we've got to figure out a way to capitalize on the opportunities we've gotten tonight here. Every offensive possession, we've had great field position, and we haven't been able to do anything with it because of mistakes.
So that's sent Jake Graff on to punt for the Boomers. 2:10 remains first quarter. Been scoreless. Both teams trading possessions. Trading field position. As back deep to return for the Trojans. Looks to be maybe O'Brien Bell Jr. as Graff with the rugby style punt. Good one. And that one fielded cleanly at about the 15. He running backwards. Boomers trying to drag him down. There's going to be a flag on the.
No.
They're going to try to call horse collar. I don't know about that one.
If they call a horse collar on this, that is a ridiculously bad, terrible call.
And it was the Darius Tubbs on the return. And for now, he'll be back near the 10 as Tubbs had sank back. The Boomers pursuing him strong. And there was a grab, but it wasn't. I don't think it was an attempt to rip him down. It just happened to be the hand wound up near the jersey.
And that's like they're
waving it off.
Okay. Because his hand had pulled the jersey so far off, there was no way he had his hands underneath the shoulder pads,
which would constitute the horse collar.
So that's why I was kind of like, what? I have no idea what he saw because he was standing 10 feet from the play.
So Douglass takes over at their own 10 to begin this drive after the negative return by Tubbs.
Here I am becoming the guy I never thought I would be on radio.
We're not dogging them. We're just, nothing crazy. And they waved it off to their credit. So first and 10 for Douglass. Perry in the pistol, looks on the short to Jones on the right side. A little bubble screen. Gets a couple blocks, takes it upfield, but only go to gain a couple because he was so far in the backfield on the catch. As he gets to about the 11, maybe the 12.
So I'd like to see the Boomers maybe try to strip the ball a little bit. There's been a lot of times where it felt like the ball was exposed enough if somebody could get hands in there. I think the Boomer defense, is strong enough that if they get a good grip on that ball, they might be able to rip it out.
Minute 25 remains first quarter here at Boomer Stadium. Both teams still scoreless. Douglass with a 2nd and 8. Perry in the pistol. Receiver each side. And the backfield Jones. Perry looking to pass. Trying to go over the middle to his tight end Vic. And it's picked off by Mason Boring. On the return to the 20. Going to the 15. Gets a couple blocks. And he's into the end zone. A pick 6 for the Boomers. No flags on the play. And Woodward strikes first.
Hey, and I want to point out there were a couple of huge blocks there. Bowen Morton and Dominic Gordon both blew up a couple guys legitimately. And one of the Douglass guys getting up slow, but man, great job all around by the Boomers there.
So not only a defensive stand, but a touchdown for the Boomers defense. As they'll take the 6-0 lead, minute 6 remaining first quarter. And Mason Boring, the senior, great return. It was that one right to him, bit of an overthrow from Perry, looking for his tight end Vic. And Boring in the perfect spot.
Well, Boring, he read the quarterback the whole way, though. As soon as he recognized where it was going to go, he started making a cut towards the ball.
Douglas Fisher on for the extra point. That's up, and it is good. As Woodward takes the lead, 7-0, with the minute 6 to go in the first quarter. Great Plains Bank, heritage, trust, respect. Those are the things that make Great Plains Bank great. Deep roots across Oklahoma and Texas. They are in touch with the communities in which they live and work. Great Plains Bank powering Boomer sports. Compass Athletics, from sports equipment to championship trophies and everything in between. Visit them 2024 Main Street in Woodward or call 580-256-7045. Compass Athletics powering Boomer sports throughout the season.
Here's the deal. As a Boomers, you got to be excited. You got to be pumped up. But on the offensive side, you've also got to tell yourself, we should be up 2 possessions because of where we...
Maybe 3. Maybe
because of the opportunities we've had on the offensive side of the ball. Defense stepped up, but the offense has got to figure something out when they get back out there. But, man, awesome job by the defense. And, again, this is what we talked about. That's our identity.
Right.
That's what we are, so...
To your point on the Boomer offense, though, they have started each possession in Douglas territory at the 45, the 24, and the 31. So, yeah, you want to see that faster start. And Coach Gordon's preached that. Want to see a fast start, and it's got to come along. And there's been some opportunities, but those penalties have hurt. So we'll see how the Boomers adjust whenever they get a chance to get the ball back. As they'll kick it here, Douglas Fisher boot into this one, aiming to the left side, and muffed initially by the Douglas returnman, but picked up off the bounce. It's Tubbs as he gets to the 10, but taken out. The ball does come out. The Boomers do recover it. No, they say he's down.
No way.
They say he was down.
There.
I am very confused right now. I heard cheering. I heard Douglas recovers, though. And one official raced in and said he was down.
Yeah, Coach Gordon's got to be careful. He's all the way out on the field.
He is on field, and they do say Douglas possession.
But yeah, see, and they're going to throw.
Yeah, there's the flag.
Coach Gordon's going to get that flag, but
yeah, Coach Gordon's livid, and I could understand this. I mean, thought it was a clear fumble. Now they're trying to get back to the sideline.
Yeah, he wasn't even near down yet when that ball popped out. He was still standing up when that ball came out and was on the ground.
So unfortunate. Would have been recovered by Dominique Gordon, who was on it. So got Coach Gordon back to the sideline, understandably frustrated. So Douglas will start this possession a little farther forward, as that was the penalty on the Boomers.
Now I'm about to become that guy because that was ridiculous.
That one was a bit tough, but hey, it's just how it is, right? Sometimes you got to live with it. So Douglas will advance this up across the 30 to the 33 on the penalty. So that's where they begin the drive with 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Now I will say, unfortunately, when you get, two teams that haven't fared very well, you're going to get I don't want to say the bottom of the barrel, but you're not going to get
maybe fresher guys.
You're not going to get the top crews.
Right. And,
and so,
that's not a knock to them, but that's just how it works out sometimes. And, as we know, you're in a spot, a region where we're lacking officials, so you got guys that are saying, hey, we're going to try to get out here Friday night and help that. And it's a learning process, all the same.
And I tell people all the time, there's a reason why I do mainly middle school games. It's because I am the guy who's learning right now.
Right.
I am the bottom of the barrel as far as softball officials out here. So I get it.
You said it, not me. No, okay. First and 10 for Douglas is a handoff up the gut to Jones. And he'll get a couple yards, but taken down at the 35, just a gain of 2. As we'll see how Douglas plays this. Do have to get one more snap off. No, excuse me, they don't as the play clock resets. See if they just take it in the quarter or try to run one more play, as there's 30 on the game clock, just 32 on the play clock. And for now, sitting, waiting in the huddle. Boomers lead 7-0, down to 15 seconds in the first quarter.
I think a lot of times as a coach, especially when you need the points, hey, let's get that extra play in. But the momentum clearly has been on the Boomer side throughout this first quarter. So, maybe try to do something to kind of slow that up a little bit.
And that is indeed the end of the first quarter as Woodward leads 7-0 after 1 over the Douglas Trojans. We'll step aside for a break. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
For more than a century, Bank of Western Oklahoma has stood by our communities, understanding the unique culture and values that make Western Oklahoma special. As a locally owned and operated bank since 1908, we're not just bankers, we're your neighbors. We've seen generations grow, businesses flourish, and farms thrive. And we've been there every step of the way. Trust in a bank that shares your roots and works as hard as you do. Bank of Western Oklahoma, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Life never stops moving. Between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety you expect, you can lose track of the miles and focus on what really matters, the memories made along the way. Stop in today at 2220 Main in Woodward to see your local Michelin dealer, Pipelanes Tire.
Tired of complicated Wi-Fi management? Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi makes it easy. With Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi, you can set your Wi-Fi password, view all your connected devices, and even run speed tests all from your phone. Need to set up parental controls? No problem. Simple, smart, secure. Stay connected and in control with Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi. Visit GoPioneer.com to learn more.
Yet again, due to the Trojans. This time Jones able to find some space on the left side, gets a first down for the moment, but a flag does come in. And this might be, it's in the area it would appear holding as Trojans is walking it back. Looks like that's going to be the call. So holding on Douglass takes away a first down. Would have been 1st and 10. Would have been 1st and 10, as I was saying. Near the 45-yard line. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and 12 as my partner Eric Scott over here is trying to get taken out by a pretzel, I think is what it is. Pretzel's trying to take him out here on a Friday night. He'll be fine. He'll join me in a second. 11:53 to go, second quarter.
It's to the point. Even other people in the box are trying to bring the water.
Perry in the pistol, hands off to Jones again. This time Jones not getting much, about 3 before he's pushed back again. The Boomers just swarming on him. And Jones, you know, Eric has been able to find a little bit of space off the line of scrimmage, but for the most part, once he's past that, the Boomers are on him quick.
It's good. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and that too early. That's
and that goes back to, you know, we've all season long, even against better offensive lines, Boomers have had many opportunities. I think that's one thing that has cost us at times too. It's just that we get so worked up, so excited that that we're getting in there too much. Having trouble talking, get my thoughts straight still.
So 3rd and 17 for Douglass. Perry back to pass, looking for the slant underneath. As it completes, Zamir Ziegler trying to take it right side. He's got the first down, the 50, the 40, turning on the Jets, and pushed out of bounds finally by Mason Boring, who saves the touchdown. And you mentioned earlier in the first quarter, got to watch those quick slants underneath, because Douglass does have a little bit of speed to work with.
Yeah, great stop by Ziegler. He actually changed his route a little bit.
Flag came in late, too.
Recognized if he kind of made a little bit of a move, it gave himself a better opportunity. But, yeah, I think they moved that back at all?
I don't think they did. I think the flag may have got knocked out accidentally, because I didn't see him mark it back. It is to the 39. So a total of 33-yard gain for Douglass on the quick pass to Zamarius Ziegler. 1st and 10 for the Trojans in Boomer territory at the 39. 10:54 remaining in the half. Woodward leads 7-0. Perry in the pistol. Takes the high snap. Fakes the handoff. Fakes a couple Boomers out. Trying to get to the 40. And breaking one tackle. Gets close to the 35 before being pulled down. Was trying to see who strung that out initially. May have been Cooper Gregory, who was on Perry, and just did a good job to try to slow his momentum and hold him to about a 4-yard gain. A lot more space was there initially.
Yeah, and I think Bowen Morton also did a good job of kind of stretching it out a little bit and slowing him down. But, you know, the fact that there was missed tackles, that the Boomers have got to do a better job, you know, about if you get a hand on them, bring them down.
And we got a timeout taken by Douglass with 10:18 remaining in the first half as the Boomers lead 7-0. R5 Custom Embroidery. When you work with R5, you can count on a quick, fun, and enjoyable process with results that consistently exceed your expectations. Go chat with their screen printing experts about customized apparel. Visit them 817 Main Street in Woodward or call 580-256-3579. R5 powering Boomer Sports throughout the season, as well as Western Drug, 1021 Oklahoma Avenue in Woodward. They've got friendly, caring staff and a drive-through window that is awfully convenient. Always excellent service as well. Call them 580-256-5586. R5 and Western Drug powering Boomer Sports. So Eric, first time that Douglass has really got a shot now in terms of in Boomer territory. Boomers have been good to hold them beyond that. How do you lock in here for Woodward? We know Douglass has got some of that speed. They've showed it with Tyler Jones, the senior running back, as well as the sophomore receiver, Zamarius Ziegler. Got to be careful.
Yeah, but you can't get your head down when you have a couple big plays go get you. And that's one thing the Boomers struggled with last week at Cache was they get back on their heels a little bit, you know, and they have trouble responding. The series where they kind of step up immediately, you know, they do a great job. You know, respond now. You know, they had a couple big plays. Let's go blow it up now. and regain field position.
2nd and 7 for the Trojans. Perry in the pistol, hand off to Jones. This time going to fall forward for another 2, maybe 3-yard gain. This couple of Boomers tried to jump on him. Gets down to the 34-yard line. Nope, excuse me, the 33. So they call it a gain of 3. Sits up 3rd and 4 for the Trojans. $9:50 remains first half. Woodward holding on to their 7-0 lead at the moment. Douglass, first time in Boomer territory tonight on this drive. As it'll be Perry. 2 receivers to the right side of the formation, 1 to the left. He's in the pistol. Running back behind him, Jones, and tight end on the left side is Vick. Bit of a high snap, hand off to Jones. This time the Boomers all over it. Levi Harris racing in there. Looks like maybe Mason Arnold as well.
Yeah, I think Mason is up. I think that's Brody Province. On that.
Oh, okay, yep, you're right, Brody.
Both of them.
8-9 difference there, yeah.
Yeah, great read. I think Brody was coming in on a blitz anyways, but you know, you like, especially as a freshman. You know, that's the thing is, we talked about all these sophomores, but we got some freshmen who are making differences as well. You know, we call Brody multiple times a game. We usually call Reese Durkee as well at times. You know, so again, there's just so many young guys that are making a difference, and that's only a positive for the Boomer program.
4th and 6 now for Douglass as clock ticks down to 8:40 at the Boomer 35. They are lined up to go for it. As Perry in the pistol, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, takes a snap, looking to pass left side, going for Ziegler, and the pass too high. And that's incomplete, a turnover on downs. Boomers come up with the defensive stand.
There you go. Now the offense has got to step up here, make something happen. You know, respond. Defense buckle down. They did what they had to do on their side of the ball. You know, come out here and take advantage and prove that they didn't do that in vain.
Definitely so. As Boomer offense, first time they're starting in their own territory for a drive. Mentioned they've been at Douglass territory the previous 3. Penalties have played a factor. A lot of holding calls on them early. See if they can correct that on this drive as Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to his right. Man in motion is rolling across formation as the tight end to the right side now. Handoff faked to Latal, and Douglas Fisher on the keeper, the read option. Tries to get past a Trojan who drags him down at the 40. Solid gain for Douglas Fisher, gain of 5. Quanez Ziegler on the tackle for the Trojans.
Yeah, that's one thing that we've seen opportunities downfield in the passing game, but unless you are able to establish that run, you kind of force them to come up a little bit. That's not going to work. So we need, you know, like to see several plays here where we're running the ball and then we'll be able to go up top again.
Do mark him just short of the 40, actually. It's the 39, so 2nd and 6. And the pistol is Douglas Fisher. 2 to the left, 1 to the right for the receivers. A handoff though inside of Latal. Has a hole across the 45. Fighting forward to about the 47. Does have the first down on the run. And a nice hole opened up. No holding call on the play.
Yeah, Trey Ugalta-Rode right there. Coach Gordon has told us off air about what, you know, the upside that he feels like Trey has. Right there, that was one of those situations where, you know, one of the Douglas guys went to make a move on it. He just turned and just blew him out of the way.
Well, and Trey has one of those frames that every coach wants. Long arms, big body. He's got to fill it out a little bit. And he's just really getting into playing time this year after an injury. 1st and 10 for the Boomers. Their handoff. Latal makes a man miss near the 50. Now cuts it up to the 45 in Douglas territory. Fighting forward, looking for the stick and stopped just a bit short. But Cooper Latal, another spirited carry for the Boomers, gained a 9 on first down. As Latal in that open field, doing a really nice job, Eric, and just finding the guy and making a miss.
Yeah, and this is where those it'd be kind of nice to see us to go up top here, 2nd short. You know, you've been moving the ball a little bit, so you feel comfortable if you go to 3rd and short. Well, let's try to make something happen here.
So 2nd and 1 for the Boomers at the Douglas 44. 7 minutes remains first half. Boomers lead 7-0. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Receiver to the left, 2 to the right. He's looking to the right side to pass. Rolling out, firing it short, incomplete. Intended for Luke Talley at about the 40. Would have had the first down, a short gain possible, but incomplete. Just a little quick roll out. We've seen that play multiple times. We just look for that quick out. So that brings 3rd and 1 for the Boomers.
Yeah, and that's what, when they had Cooper split out wide earlier in the year, he was great at those quick curls and getting in the right spots. So unfortunately not having him there may have hurt us a little bit, but I still like the call.
Douglas Fisher in the pistol, takes the snap, hands off to Latal, gets first down at the 40. Oh, and a good open field tackle there for the Trojans. Near a horse collar, the Boomers are wondering. They're not getting it, as it was Adarius Tubbs with the tackle. Nonetheless, still a first down for the Boomers as Latal worked to the 38. A solid gain of 6.
That was from up here. That was much closer to what looked like a horse collar than what we saw earlier.
The early fight. They waved it off the first time. So. But I get what you're saying.
I don't like your being positive stuff here. We're kind of, come on, Tyler.
Hey, glass full all the time for me. All right, 1st and 10 for the Boomers at the Douglas 38. Latal goes in motion. Douglas Fisher, a quick out on the right side to Cole Moore. Gets a block from Oyasarode. Makes a man miss at the 30. Gets inside the 30, near the 25, down to the 26. And Cole Moore again, just in some open space, and a late flag comes in.
Yeah, this is going to be in the unsportsmanlike, area. It's just who's it going to go against.
Yeah, there's a little extracurricular, as it looked like Douglas player was maybe trying to pile on more a bit at the end of the play.
But you said it. Great job by Trey Oyasarode to make a great block.
A little bubble.
I just like saying his last name.
Yes. Unsportsmanlike against Douglas. Attack on 15 more is already a first down to the 26, and this will put the Boomers in the red zone. As it was gained of 12 on the bubble screen. We're in the area of half the distance, or is this full 15 at this point?
I want to continue to talk Trey up just a little bit longer. You talked about he was out several weeks with that foot injury. He had a cut on his leg that took a little bit of time to come back because of some infection, different things like that. But the bigger injury he came back from, you can attest to this, was a major back surgery.
Yeah.
As I believe a 7th grader, Trey had major back surgery and has taken him some time to fully, kind of get his body fully right. And I think he's starting to get there. You can see it he's carrying himself with much more confidence and things like that. So I love seeing him out here on Friday night doing some good things.
That he is, holding down that right tackle spot. It's a full 15 on the penalty. The Boomers have it 1st and 10 at the Douglas 12. 6:19 remains in the half. They do lead 7-0, trying to extend it to 2 touchdowns. On this drive, be the first offensive touchdown this game if they can do it. Scored on pick 6 earlier from Mason Bourne. As Douglas Fisher in the pistol, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and tight as Bourne. Man in the backfield, Latal. Tight end Endersby, and they hand off to Latal. Up the middle, slicing through the defense a bit inside to the 5 and put down at the 4. And Cooper Latal just making it look easy right now up the gut, in part due to some good blocking.
Yeah, great job by the offensive line on this series. Boomer coaching staff has recognized that they've kind of got that momentum going. Let's just continue to hand it off, get straight in the middle.
So 2nd and 2 from the 4. Boomers can get a first down with that scoring. Clock goes to 5:50. Douglas Fisher in the pistol, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Backfield Latal, and a flag comes out on the snap, maybe a little bit before.
Putting the hands on the hips on the far side,
which would be, yep. So it's on Douglas. Be what, encroachment all sides, right?
Yeah, maybe lined up, and then instead of coming across, he was lined up.
And it is on the Trojans. Yeah. So it'll be half the distance, make it 2nd and inches here for the Boomers. 2nd and 1, they'll call it.
Yeah, now for the Boomers, you can't waste these opportunities.
Douglas Fisher under center, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, as well as the tight end to the left. And that one immediately blown up as they try to go with the traditional handoff to Latal, and Douglas just sent the house, tackled Latal back at the 5, loss of 3.
Yeah, it kind of looked like the way that Douglas came across the line. They thought maybe that was going to be a keeper, a QB sneak, and when they're trying to blow it up like that, and you're going back and handing it off, it's just not going to work that well.
So they call a loss of 4, actually, back to the 6. 3rd and 5 for the Boomers. 5:10 remains in the half. They lead 7-0, trying to get another touchdown here as Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, as well as a tight end. Snap a bit low, it's on the ground, and Douglas Fisher just has a fall on it, does so near the 10-yard line, back at the 9. So the Boomers with a couple big mistakes now force themselves into 4th down and about 9 as they take a timeout and want to talk about it, figure out what to do from here.
Yeah, this may be as much about a, yeah, we're going to talk about it, we're going to figure it out, but it's almost kind of like a basketball type of timeout where, hey, let's call timeout. We made a couple mistakes here. That one was kind of a big mistake. Our heads are down, kind of the body language dropped all of a sudden. Let's build it back up.
Salient State Bank, they've now got a branch in Woodward at their new location, 2314 Williams Avenue. Salient State Bank Woodward branch offers full-service banking, including personal checking, savings, home and commercial loans, mobile and online banking, wire transfers, and much more. Visit them, Salient State Bank Woodward branch, 2314 Williams Avenue. M&D Enterprises and Lawnmower Shop for your best lawn, porch, or patio. M&D Enterprises and Lawnmower Shop are your people. They carry everything you need to make your greenscape that little piece of heaven you've always dreamed of. Locations in Woodward, Canton, and Weatherford. M&D's Enterprises and Lawnmower Shop, as well as Salient State Bank, powering Boomer Sports, and a field goal attempt upcoming here for the Boomers on 4th and 8 from the 9. So for Douglas Fisher, a 25-yard attempt. Snap, good, ball down, kick in the air, looks like it has the distance, and it is good. And the Boomers add a field goal to be able to extend their lead now to 10-0 on your Jess Wells Chevrolet scoreboard. Jess Wells Chevrolet in Shattuck, where honesty is not just a word, it's how they drive every deal. Check out JessWellsChevrolet.com or call 580-938-2122. Jess Wells Chevrolet, powering the scoreboard all season long.
Tyler, I told you off air the other night when we were sitting there having dinner before the coaches show that, I felt like this was one of those games that was winnable enough that we could make some mistakes.
Right.
Still keep ourselves in the game, have that opportunity to get the victory. Unfortunately, there's been more than I kind of anticipated in that, but it feels like the Boomers have kind of settled down a little bit. A young team, as they continue to grow, goes, like that, where you move the ball downfield, you get the ball down that deep. You just got to learn to finish off those drives.
Well, and here's the tough part of it, right? And this is more for those younger guys, maybe not the seniors, but executing when you feel like you're just going to walk in and win the game.
Right.
It's tough to tell those young guys, hey, you can't take it lightly. Every team's got to be a state champion caliber team in your mind, right? So that's a habit that you got to break a little bit. That can be tough to get out of. As kickoff for Douglas Fisher, this one high, a bit shorter, fielded about the 15 by Zamarius Ziegler. Cuts to the right sideline, gets to the 30 before he's pushed out of bounds by the Boomers. Ziegler has some good speed on him if you let him cut loose.
Yeah, he has great speed. I think that's one thing that maybe some adjustments were talked about on the sideline where, you can't try to go so hard at him and try to make a play. You've got to make sure you have the right angle, because if you miss that angle just right, he's going to pick up more yards.
See, they actually spot this at the 29 for Douglas, so that's where they'll take over. Caught him just a bit short of that 30. As the Trojans have been in Boomer territory just one time. Last drive was their longest of the game so far at 8 plays. 1st and 10 for Douglas. Perry in the pistol. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Looks like Jones in the backfield. Oh, excuse me, that is not Jones in the backfield. To swing it to the new back as he gets to the 25, the 30, making a man miss along the way near the 35, as on the catch and run was O'Brien Bell Jr., the sophomore.
And that's what I was just talking about. It was about taking the right angles. Boomer saw an opportunity to make him, really kind of try to make a big hit at about the line of scrimmage, maybe even the backfield. He just completely missed and allowed Douglas to pick up a few extra yards.
So a 5-yard gain for the Trojans on 1st down. Since it's 2nd and 5 from the 34, Douglas in no hurry to get to the ball with just over 4:05 remaining in the half, as Woodward leads 10-0. Seems like Douglas may be trying to go to more of a 4-minute offense, want to bleed this clock, knowing that Woodward gets the ball to start the second half. Don't want to give them another chance maybe to score. As they line up with just 3 on the play clock down to 2, Perry takes the high snap, another handoff inside to Bell Jr., and he plunges forward across the 35 to about the 37 before he's met by a couple of Boomers and stopped short of the 1st down. So it'll be 3rd and short for Douglas. It's like a 4-yard gain official.
Levi Harris, stepping up there and kind of stopping him in his tracks and kept him from getting first down.
So 3rd and 1 for the Trojans at their own 38-yard line as they got to get to the 39. 3:10 remains in the first half. As it'll be Perry in the gun this time. Or excuse me, Wildcat formation, it looks like. Not Perry in the gun. Looks like Jones, direct snap of the Boomers in the backfield on him initially, drag him down well behind the line of scrimmage. And what a read from the Boomer, the defense, identifying the Wildcat. Couldn't see who got the first hand in there.
I think it was Case and Warren was able to get in there and kind of stop him. Well, maybe that was, no, that wasn't Case, and that was Bowen Morton.
Bowen Morton, then Kaysen maybe finished that one off.
Bowen was able to, I think Kaysen and Mason Arnold as well was in there to make the stop.
So in total, it's about a 6-yard loss as Douglas tried to go with that Wildcat, getting the senior Tyler Jones in there, and the Boomers just read it and blow it up. So
actually, I checked that. That was actually Brody Province. That 8 and 9 is kind of throwing me off.
Yeah, it's a little tight on these pink out jerseys.
After I said Mason Arnold, I was like, the body type doesn't fit right. Whatever. Mason's a little bit shorter than Brody, but either way, great job by the Boomer defense to make that stop. And it looks like the Boomer's going to go out expecting a punt here. When you have a team like Douglas, you never know, especially the fact that they haven't had a good punt it yet. Boomers have already blocked one, and with where you're at, the amount of time, I say go at them. Let's go out. Let's try to get another block and try to put more points on the board.
Smith & Co. Auction and Really. They're Oklahoma's real estate and land auction experts. Smith & Co. your #1 choice for all your land auctions and real estate needs. Call 580-254-3975 or email ira@smithcorealestate.com. Smith & Co. Auction and Really, powering Boomer Sports on Z92 KMZE FM Woodward, and of course Boomer TV as well. If you're wondering where Ely is tonight, had a bit of a personal matter to attend to, so he's out tonight. He'll be back next week. We didn't kick him off the broadcast.
We told him.
I promise.
I told him he's being a win, but it's all right.
And Douglas tries to go with the fake punt. It was near blocked on the 4th down and getting the juke move. And did he get the first? He might have.
I think he did.
So Douglas able to get the first down on the 4th down, what looked to be like a punt instead, just a keeper.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure it wasn't the high snap, because there was a high snap.
I would say, yeah, I'm not sure if it was a design call.
Yeah, I think that may have been the high snap, and he just decided, hey, it's best for me to keep that and see where I can pick up. And unfortunately, in broken plays, that happens.
It looked to be Jordan Hawkins, the freshman. So 1st and 10 for Douglas instead of a punt as the clock goes to 2:25 now. Perry in the pistol for the Trojans. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Tight end motions over to the left side. Got a man in the backfield behind him. Bit of a high snap again. It's Jones taking the handoff, and the Boomers right there on top of it at the line of scrimmage. That one, Bowen Morton blowing it up again. And Morton from that edge is just deadly. Loss of 2, they say.
And what I love seeing, and I know I harp on this a lot, these sophomores that, are stepping up, and with the weight program and what they do in the summer now, with Coach Gordon and the coaching staff has been building with their summer weights and different things like that. These kids are only going to get bigger and get stronger. It may not get height-wise, but they're going to fill out much more. So
you can still be a great player at 5'10", 200 pounds, as long as it's filled out properly. 2nd and 11 for the Trojans. Perry trying to go with the quick pass. That one just clapped out of bounds, essentially, by his receiver as it goes on the far sideline to the Douglas, almost the Douglas stand. It's kind of an odd incompletion. Looked like Perry put a little bit too much heat on that one. And that's big for the Boomers because it stops the clock on top of forcing the 3rd down.
Yeah, it stops the clock, and here you have a chance to, hopefully make another stop. You've got 2 timeouts, so you at least.
One timeout is what they're showing on the board.
I only remember one being called.
They're showing 1, so until proven wrong, I'm going to agree with the almighty board.
Fair enough. I'll go talk to him and make sure it's saying right.
3rd and 11 for Douglas as Perry's in the pistol. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Back to pass. going with the swing pass to Jones. The Boomers read it, and who else? Levi Harris just all over it, taking down his man. Back to the 30, it was Jones on the catch, or excuse me, that was Bell Jr. on the catch.
Yeah, Levi Harris, that was also, and I know that was the screenplay, but Brody Providence and Bo Morton were in there fast as well, so there really wasn't much time for anything to develop there for Douglas.
Called a loss of 8 all the way back to the 31. So we're going to have third about 19, or excuse me, fourth and 19 after the timeout by the Boomers, stopping the clock with a minute 22 remaining in the first half. They do lead 10-0, like you said a second ago, Eric. It'd be real nice to see, hey, let's go take our shots. Let's try to extend this lead, because you get the ball back after half. So if you don't succeed, as long as you don't have a total disaster, a pick six or something like that, it's almost risk-free.
Yeah, and here's another opportunity too for the Boomers to, really pin their ears back and go for the block punt. And honestly, that's a lot of the reason why that helped Douglas pick up on that busted punt earlier, because when he took it off, everybody was going forward, and he was able just to make one guy miss and get far enough to pick it up. But I say just continue doing what you're doing if you're the Boomers on defense. Offense, you got to clean a lot of things up, but it's there. If we just clean that kind of stuff up and just move the ball, I think you don't have a lot to worry about. Just continue to work on stuff moving forward tonight.
So 4th and 19 for the Trojans as they're set to punt yet again. This one another low punt. Skews to the left side. Looks like Littall just going to let it roll as it takes a Boomer roll back to about the 42. And that's where Woodward will begin at their own 42-yard line. Minute 14 remains on the clock, showing no timeouts. See if that's the case for sure or not.
And those on Boomer TV can see that was almost blocked.
It's so low.
How he got that through. There was 5 or 6 guys right there. He was able to get that through the smallest window. But the Boomers are doing what they have to do. Sometimes the ball just doesn't fall their way at times.
So 1st and 10 at their own 42 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, as well as a tight end. Littall in the backfield. Back to pass, going for that immediate shot down to Colt Moore, left side, and that incomplete. Played well, looked like by the Trojan defender. Some hand fighting going on. Looks like maybe that was either Asante Mosley, the senior.
That was one of those situations, though, where Colt was trying to make a cut back inside. The ball was a little underthrown. Throw more to the inside of the field. Colt was trying to make a cut, and unfortunately, there was a guy in the way. A lot of times you get pass interference in that situation, not this time.
2nd and 10 for the Boomers. Gun look again for Douglas Fisher. This time going with the screen pass up to Littall. Little one-hand bring in there on the short pass. Littall cuts it upfield, trying to get to the 50, gets to the 49. Gain of 7 for the Boomers. Brings up 3rd down and short.
And coaching staff trying to get them to
hurry up.
Get up and hurry up.
As the clock ticks down to 50 seconds and still running. 3rd and 4 for the Boomers, down to 45 seconds as Douglas Fisher gets everybody set. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left in the gun. Snap taken, rolling to the right side, looking for the short pass, the out route. Caught, complete, trying to get out of bounds, but can't. Does get the first. It looks like that was Luke Parkhurst on the catch. Does get the first down to the 45 in Douglas territory, 6-yard gain. Clock stops with the first down. 32 seconds remains. They didn't give him the 45, gave him the 46, so a gain of 5.
Boomers need to be ready as soon as they wind the clock here.
It looks like that's the case. Might be a spike because Douglas Fisher's going to be under center. And sure enough, just spikes the ball. So clocks it with 28 seconds remaining now. In the half, at least want to be able to try to get to field goal range again. Kind of going a little bit into the wind. It's picked up a touch, but still nothing bad. Maybe 5-10 miles an hour in that range.
One thing I noticed on that last play that, I said the Douglas defensive line just kind of seems not traditional in the way they do some things. Instead of your traditional one-hand swims, you're seeing them go like this with both their hands, and I think that's kind of turned some of the Boomers off too.
Douglas Fisher back to pass again on 2nd and 10, looking deep, and that incomplete, almost an interception dropped. Trying to see, it looked like Moore was trying to fight through 2 defenders on the left sideline.
Yeah, Douglas was ready for that. The safety was kind of standing there. He just kind of waited to, once he recognized that was going to go to Colt, he just kind of slipped in there and knocked the ball down.
So 20 seconds remains in the half. The Boomers lead 10-0. They face a 3rd and 10 from the Douglas 46, trying to tack on another score before the halftime break. As Douglas Fisher in the gun, trips to the left, one to the right, tight end right side as well. Free blitzer comes through. Douglas Fisher having to scramble, pulls it down, races forward to the 40, gets the first down, and steps out of bounds. Nice job and a late hit, and there's the flag. That's huge. So not only did Douglas Fisher get the first down on the scramble, drew the late hit after he went out of bounds. That's going to set up Woodward with at least a field goal chance, if not a shot or two to the end zone with 14 seconds remaining.
And I think initially that was almost exactly what they were trying to do the last play with, and they just flipped it. They had Colt line up on the near side to the far side like last time, and that's where Ryan wanted to go. Unfortunately, fortunately, he recognized that he wasn't going to be able to make a good throw. He just pulled it down and picked up what he could, and it worked out for the Boomers.
Big time. Good recognition. There was that pressure up the middle. Ryan identified it quickly.
And that's the maturity of, Ryan. Ryan, I actually told his mom today how, I kind of enjoyed watching him kind of as he's developed, from last year to this year. And I almost said confidence, and that's one thing, if you know anything about Ryan, he's got the confidence. He's had the confidence.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's maturity. He's got the maturity to recognize and not try to do too much, and that's exactly what happened there.
So the penalty makes it 1st and 10 for the Boomers at the Douglas 16. 14 seconds remains in the half. Boomers have no timeouts. They lead 10-0. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Douglas Fisher looking short side for Moore, and then floats one towards the end zone, and that's picked off by the Trojans. Along the goal line, trying to run back. He stepped out of the goal line and then went back in. What are they going to call that? That should be a safety. He was running along the goal line and went back into the end zone. The Boomers are trying to make the case, and they're discussing it. And it is.
Yes.
And that was DeMontre Hurd, the senior on the pick, and just made a bad decision. Took it out from the goal line, was in the end zone when he picked it off, ran it out to about the 2, and then Eric decided to run back into the end zone. The Boomers make the tackle.
Yeah, I think the official kind of caught himself out of position there. And, it was actually the white hat who ran in there and kind of said, yeah, he came out and went back in, and so way to step up for the officiating crew to recognize that, hey, we need to make the right call here. And did. Now the Boomers still have an opportunity. We've seen, both Colt Moore and Cooper Littall this year return kicks, for touchdowns. So, maybe something happens here. They can make that happen and, get really good momentum going into half.
So the Boomers now extend their lead to 12-0 on the interception turn safety. And like you mentioned, a chance to have one more return before the half, and Woodward will get the ball to start the second half. They deferred to begin the game. So an odd sequence there, and a rare mistake by a senior, one of the few on the Douglas roster. It's one of those, Eric, I mean, you've seen players do it. You make a big play, and you're just not thinking maybe in the moment, right?
Right. And I think that I give credit to the Boomers there, because a lot of times that late in the half, you throw an interception, you kind of put your head down.
Sure.
And you just, you let them kind of run it out. You tackle them, but you don't get too worried about it. No, the Boomer offensive players, they knew exactly what they needed to do and get him down as quick as possible, because they still had an opportunity to make something happen.
So this punt, or kick, I should say, no punts in the high school side for the safety. Kick will be from the 20. Of course, Colt Moore, Cooper Littall back deep to have a chance to return their first kick of the night. Moore on the right side, Littall on the left hash. They're backed up inside the 30, about the 27. 1 second remains in the half. Boomers lead 12-0, force the safety. They have a chance on this kick return to do something right before the half.
Probably going to see a squib.
Might see so. Yeah. Nope, they sky it. It's going to be a little short on a hop. Fielded there. Can't tell quite the number. Brody Providence maybe up and just leads his head forward. And that's how we end the first half on the return. Woodward leads 12-0 over the Douglas Trojans here at Boomer Stadium after 2 quarters. We'll step aside for break. Come back with the halftime show. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Are you looking for a bank that understands your needs and works as hard as you do? Welcome to Bank of Western Oklahoma, proudly serving our area since 1908, offering free checking with no monthly fees and convenient mobile banking. Whether you're in Cordell, Elk City, Weatherford, Woodward, or any of our 6 locations, we're always nearby. Bank of Western Oklahoma, where the Western Oklahoma spirit is alive and well. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
You tackle an endless to-do list every day. It may seem like a thankless job, but you know better. It's the little things that matter most. That's why you'll appreciate the enduring value of the Michelin Defender tire. Designed for doers like you, Michelin's longest-lasting tire keeps you on the go longer, so you have one less thing to worry about on your next road trip. Stop in today for miles of uncompromised safety and performance. Visit your local Michelin dealer, High Plains Tire, at 2220 Main in Woodward.
This back-to-school season, give your home the connection it deserves with Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Experience the power of Wi-Fi 6 technology for smoother streaming, gaming, and learning. And with the Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi app, managing your home network is a breeze. Choose from multiple plans with symmetrical speeds for lightning-fast uploads and downloads. Get your family school ready with Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Sign up today at gopioneer.com.
And welcome back to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV as we are at the half. Woodward leads over the Douglass Trojans 12-0 here at the break as I found my pen. I lost it for a second, found it as we'll look at the High Plains Tire halftime stats. High Plains Tire, visit them at 2220 Main Street in Woodward. It's where your dollar goes further. High Plains Tire. Tire and Boomer Sports all season long with the halftime stats. And Eric, you look at the touchdowns you got on the board, of course, with the pick 6 by Mason Boring. That was about a minute 6 to go in the first quarter. It was a bad pass. I say a bit heavy of a pass by Perry, the quarterback, and just intended for his tight end. A little overthrown, Kamari Perry there. Boring all over it. Got a couple big blocks on the kick return. Woodward offensively put together a solid drive into the second quarter and got down on a 10-play drive, kicked a field goal 25 yards out by Douglas Fisher to get that 10-0 lead. And then you have the odd interception we covered there at the end of the half that turned into the safety. Feels like the Boomers could be up by a couple more scores here had things been maybe a little bit cleaner to start the game.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit during the break off air, but because of maybe it is looking too confident in what you saw on film based on what Douglass has. You're a young team. You're really excited that you potentially are going to take that next step forward with the victory. And Boomers have had some mistakes that have cost them opportunities to put the ball in the end zone. That's hopefully, and things settle down. Things got a lot better as far as the penalties and stuff like that in the second quarter. We moved the ball a couple times downfield. Especially in the two-minute situation. We moved the ball downfield, made some things happen. But when you get down there in the red zone, especially when you're at the 1 or 2,
yeah,
you got to put the ball in there. And so I said this, it's a part of the process of a growing team, of learning how to get over that hump. And I think if we have done some things tonight that they can say, we do that better, this game is a completely different game, even though we're still dominating.
Well, and like I say, getting down to the 2, not completing that, it's a little tough. And, that's just byproduct of you had what looked like maybe a miscommunication on kind of that play call when you were 2nd and 1, essentially. Douglas sold out thinking it was a dive. It wound up being a run, and there was just nothing there. Then you get, just a little further mistake to back you up to essentially 4th and 9 to cause that field goal. So that was one of those opportunities. And they did adjust on those early penalties. We saw a plethora of holdings. Seemed like the officials calling it a little tighter. Boomers adjusted the second quarter. That was cleaned up for the most part. So you at least like to see that adjustment. But, for Woodward, despite all that, got to be a lot of confidence right now. Your defense is just absolutely all over Douglass as is.
Yeah, and that's what what I was kind of getting at was, you look at it and say, we made mistakes. The score should be another possession or two up than we already are, But let's shake that off. Let's go out there and let's just execute this next half. Let's go out there. Let's do our job. We've got another big game coming up next week against Clinton. Where hey, that's an opportunity to show the steps we have been making. Against a program like Clinton. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game still. But you get that confidence. You fix all these little mistakes you're making. And let's show that we're making those steps forward.
And Clinton probably, by all accounts, Weatherford might be putting their name in there, but Clinton easily in the top 3 of this district, have been in the top 5 within the state in terms of the rankings, so a chance to kind of reevaluate where you are at that game, right? You go in thinking, okay, yeah, we're on the road against a really good opponent. Let's see how we improve compared to what we did in the Elgin game. That's kind of another benchmark for the Boomers to look at. Looks like the Boomers performing their halftime show at the moment. Let's see if we could listen in maybe to the Boomers there and catch a little bit of that halftime show. And there's a bit of the Boomer Band for you here at halftime. Marching band with their performance here at Boomer Stadium. They're getting ready, of course, for homecoming in a couple of weeks. We'll go to Clinton next week for the fall break. Thursday night game. Come back home against Bridge Creek on the following Friday. That'd be the 25th for homecoming. Be a lot of fun in that. With that said, let's step aside, take a break here in the halftime, come back, look at scores from around the district, and, of course, the Northwest Oklahoma area as well. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Every family has a story filled with chapters of love, laughter, and dreams for the future. But what if one day you're not there to help write the next chapter? Life is unpredictable, but your love for your family shouldn't be. With State Farm Life Insurance, Gwayne Matthews and Woodward can help ensure your story continues, even when you're not there to turn the page. Protect the chapters yet to come. Talk to Gwayne Matthews, because your story deserves to be told.
And welcome back to Boomer Football, as we'll take a look now at scores going around the Northwest Oklahoma area at the moment. We talked about District 4A right now. Elgin, Elgin Bridge Creek, the only other game going on in 4A1. No surprise, Eric Elgin as you were showing me, well dominating that game, 42-0 at the half. They are on the road and looking every bit as a top 3 team in the state, similar to what we saw against this earlier this year. Taking a look at some of the 2A scores there, or actually talk 3A a little bit because there was a game last night. Kingfisher tried to compete with Heritage Hall, gave him a bit of a run, but Heritage Hall ultimately winning that one 46-23. 2A won last night. Perry got the win over Mount St. Mary's 41-7. We mentioned Alva at the top of the broadcast. They're dealing with a tough challenge against Stroud, a team that's been very quality in Class A over the last few years. A team that was young last year, brought back a lot. Alva down right now, 34-8 on the road against an undefeated Stroud Tiger squad. We got maybe some of the Class A scores.
And unfortunately, you know, for Alva, the way their offense is set up, it's not set up very well to be down that big at halftime. So let's see here. See if there we go. Here's some Class A scores. Watonga is at Hinton. It is 20-0 Hinton at halftime. Let's go through Hooker and Cashin. Kind of, you don't want to say traditionally that's a big game. Cashin is, you know, kind of coming back up from a couple down years. The Hookers just putting it on them at halftime. It's 40-7. Fairview all over Crescent. You know, Moreland took care of Crescent, you know, earlier in the year. Fairview, man, just 56-6 right now. I don't know if that's in halftime. Still
that is at half.
Yes, it's at halftime now. So, but big score there.
And that's homecoming and Fairview, so they're got off for that one. You know, they've had a string of really good Houck kids. Well, there's another one, young sophomore Alex Houck, who kind of been waiting in the wings at running back. He's got 3 touchdowns tonight. He's a pretty good little player. Talked to the older Houcks, and they say he might be the best one of the 3 in terms of just an athlete.
Yeah.
The other 2 a bit bigger. So he's one to watch. Of course, Jack Spinard doing the same. Hooker, tell you what, the Hooker team is angry. They want another crack at Fairview.
In Class A2, here's an upset alert. At halftime, Apache is up on Thomas. 20-13 at halftime. That game's in Apache, but Texoma Goodwell just putting it on Cordell. And really no surprise there, but
and Texoma dominated last week against Moreland, a game where Moreland turned over a lot. Texoma took care of that. Texoma looking strong. And speaking of Moreland, Michael Barnes and Mangum right now. Barnes having himself a time probably calling that one. Mangum on top 34-8 over at Interline Field.
And I think those injuries are starting to catch up. To Moreland, unfortunately. They, you know, a team that had a lot of upside this year, but they're kind of dealing with those injuries. So, but the score on that Texoma Goodwill is 61-0 at halftime.
Shoo.
So,
man, Red Devils rolling.
Look at 8-man.
B1 here got Garber. They rolled Pioneer Pleasantville 62-16. Ponk Creek Hunter, Laverne, that was a big matchup tonight. Figure out Ponk Creek Hunter kind of where they stand, undefeated coming into that game. Laverne, they only lost South Central. Laverne controlling at the half, 22-0. And that one, Turpin, they blank Oklahoma Bible Academy 50-0. And last night, Empire rolled past Burns Flatville City.
In B2, some area scores. Classic Bowl scores. Cherokee is up 24-0 over in Davenport. Thought that might be a pretty good game. Looks like Cherokee's kind of handling pretty good at the first half. Wacomas is trailing Covington Douglass at halftime. That game's at Covington Douglass 24-22. Last night, I think you mentioned earlier, Sealing and O'Keene, big game there. But, you know, Sealing handled the Whippets 50-28 late. Shattuck Ringwood last night, not really a surprise here, 60-0. Shattuck, Boy City took care of Canton 53-8 last night.
Olive, they tried last night against Coyle.
Yeah, it's kind of that is what it is.
Coyle's solid as usual. Class C scores, you mentioned. Of course, Winoka was trying to welcome Tyrone into Winoka, deal with them at half. Winoka trailing 20-12 to Tyrone and that one. And what else we got? Buffalo gets, it says 15-0 if you're looking on Squirtle. That's because Criminal Hillsdale, unfortunately, had to end their season due to lack of players last night. Timberlake able to beat Sharon Mutual 48-0.
Yeah, Medford obviously picking up weird because of DCLA's cancellation. Beaver and Balco Forgan, they're playing out there in the middle of nowhere. And I'm telling you this, on a Friday night when you're driving across there, and all of a sudden you just come up on lights out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool feeling.
It is. It's a neat little atmosphere.
I actually, when I was, maybe my freshman year, sophomore year of college, I went up to watch Shattuck play out at Goodwill. Shattuck this was Shattuck's in the middle of the streak. Just took care of business. About midway through the second quarter, I'm like, okay, I'm peacing out. You know, it's like, it was already like 42-0 midway through the second quarter. I was like, and so I headed down the road. Tyrone and Balco were playing. And so I was like, I'm pulling in there. It was still mid-third quarter. I pull in there and watch the rest of the second half. You know, it turned out to be a good game. But like I said, it's just kind of that you're driving across there. It's just kind of I don't know, interesting atmosphere when you're out there in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden here's lights.
Oh, for sure. Do want to mention, too, of course, Enid, we kind of keep an eye on them. They went to Norman last night. Tough challenge there. Norman rolled them 49-7 in that one. So, Enid team that's still building. Coach Condor at times got them looking really good, but they still got some younger guys that are trying to step up. So,
and I will say one game that, you know, is a big game. It's not in our area, but Class C, big game. Tipton is at Ryan
Yes,
tonight.
yeah, I forgot about that.
1 versus 2.
1 versus 2, yeah.
You know, and it's in a very top-heavy district. You know, it is. There's a couple of really good teams, and everybody else is really bad. But
Tipton's also won a couple state titles.
Right.
Yeah. So.
You know, when those two go at it, and it's 28-14, Tipton right now. I bet that's a great atmosphere to be in down there.
Oh yeah, Tipton always brings some good speed, tough to deal with. Mentioned, hey, Gary's in the top 10 of Class C, and they're leading Granville 44-8 at the half. So Gary, who would have thought, rising up? They've had their moments, I guess you could say.
Well, I think, and I'll say this. So Gary's superintendent, I can't think of his name right now, came and spoke during the Woodward in service this year. He's a inspirational speaker, talks to educators, things like that. And the feel I got from him is he has created a culture school-wide over at Fairview. Fairview's got the culture. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
At Gary, but you know, when you have a positive culture within your school, that's going to carry over to athletics. You know, and that may be what we're seeing going on down
Sean
there.
Buchanan.
Yes. So that may be part of what we're seeing as far as they're going to start kind of doing some things athletically, just because the kids have a little bit better enthusiasm as a whole.
For sure. So, Eric, got a couple more minutes before the teams get back onto the fields. We kind of break away from some of those scores a bit. Do want to mention, of course, if you want to check on all those scores, and of course the Tri-State as a whole, whether it be Southwest Kansas, Texas Panhandle, tune in to K101. CJ Montgomery and the crew rolling along there right now.
I hope CJ's doing okay.
He's fine.
He might have lost his voice by then.
Yeah, he's a little. He gets that about once a year where he gets a little under the weather.
I think everybody's kind of getting that.
I was coughing a little bit today. A little stuffy.
I actually sound better today than I did 2 days ago. So.
Yikes! No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I told you after the coaches show, or at the coach show, I was starting to feel it.
Yeah.
And I went home and took some NyQuil that night, and yesterday I was a little stuffy. Today it's just my tooth. It's not the stuffiness. It's the
you're there trying to hurt yourself. You got the voice. You had to pull a tooth.
I had to pull a tooth the other night. I learned that if you have a joint replacement, you're supposed to take an antibiotic before you have dental work. So it became a whole thing. I had to drive to Weatherford to get it done. So that was all fun. But I'm ready for fall break. I can tell you that.
Oh man. Well, hey, don't get too comfortable because we got to go to Clinton next week. We're going to need you 100%, Eric, 100%.
I will be at Clinton, and then I may be gone for checking out.
He said, don't talk to me after that.
Because then we got homecoming the next week, Hall of Fame on the Sunday after homecoming. Don't forget to get your tickets if you want to go. A great class. I think we got some videos that are going to be showing some clips from the 77 girls basketball championship game.
Oh, very cool.
We've got some clips. I haven't seen it yet. I was told about it. They've actually got the play-by-play on top of it, the audio of the broadcast. So I'm interested to get to watch that a little bit. And I know.
So who's the play-by-play guy back then?
Well, and that's it. Coach Norton wasn't sure. He asked Mr. Ron Sunderland, who, Ron kind of knows everybody.
Yeah.
Ron wasn't sure who it was, so we're not quite sure. I'm hoping somebody's investigating.
And believe it or not, that would
curious.
predate C.J. Montgomery getting into town full time. So even he probably
he may not know. So I'm sure there's somebody out there know. And again, I don't even know if that's local. Maybe that's
might have been a state deal,
a state thing. But either way, it sounds like it's pretty cool. And I believe there's also a football alumni who was a part of that '94 championship team who's putting together something as well. Video package to play as a part of the ceremony when they're inducted. So, I think it's going to be a good ceremony. I'm excited about it. I have one of my former teachers is also Miss Linda Harrison. So,
yes,
yeah, I'm excited about seeing her.
And also that weekend, do want to mention Fall Days coming up. K101 Fall Days Z92. So that'll be the 25th, 26th, and 27th. So
yeah, if you're an alumni, come into town.
Check out Fall Days. Go see the
Go to the
banquet
parade. Watch us win a game against Bridge Creek. Go to Fall Days on Saturday. Go to the banquet on Sunday. It's a vacation. Come to Woodward on vacation, people.
Right. That's right. No, we look forward to that. Going to be a lot of great vendors at Fall Days, homecoming weekend. Always a lot of fun. All of it kind of going on simultaneously there. Should be a good time. Both teams warming up now back on the field, getting their final stretches in. And Eric, what do the Boomers now got to do? You're up 12-0. How do you finish this game? You're going to start with the ball in the second half. What do the Boomers have to do to close this one out, get that first district win of the season?
Everything that needs to be done has got to be on the offensive side. I mean, defense is doing their job. They are doing what was expected of them. I kind of expected them to come out and dominate, and I feel like they have. Douglass has made a couple plays where they've been able to pick up things that were played very well, actually. By the Boomer defense. Douglass just made a couple plays that, moved the ball, but the offense has got to figure something out. They got to clean up all those mistakes. Like I said, it felt like it was getting better the second half going along, but we were down in the red zone twice, and we weren't able to capitalize when we get down there. And so the Boomers have got to do that. I think if they can do that, they can have a clean second half, get some stuff on film that they can go back and look at the positives and negatives, and go out there and get some hits, get ready for Clinton next week. I'm excited to see where, as we've grown, where they're at against another top tier team.
Absolutely, it'll be a good measuring stick, no doubt about it. And you look forward to that. Just at the very least, you just like we mentioned a second ago, you want to see how, like you said, you've grown from the Elgin game to now. I mean, that's kind of the mark of the season when you're at this point of saying, okay, where are our milestones? Tonight can be one with the win. Then how do you transfer that into next week? No doubt about it. And, hey, do want to shout out, we were talking about Fairview dominating early. Jax Bernard, quarterback, senior. He's lost one time in his high school career. And Coach Bernard told me earlier this season they lost one game in their Little League career. So he's lost 2 games his entire football career. He becomes the 7th quarterback ever in the history of Oklahoma athletics to surpass the 10,000 career passing yard mark. Did it in the first half tonight on homecoming, so special there. Congrats to Mr. Jax Bernard of Fairview. I'm telling you, folks, that kid, I don't care what class it is, he's got it. He's got it. So if you're a college out there that needs one, he's still looking. He's still in the hunt for a home at the next level. That's a good one to call up.
He may be one of those D2 guys that kind of sneaks in there and does something amazing. But, yeah, I always think about a kid like Mitchell Gale, who was up at Alva, right around 04 or 05 or 06, kind of in that area, who, was kind of sneaky good, didn't get a lot of opportunities. And then he goes down to Abilene Christian, at that time was D2, but tears it up. Became a Abilene Christian Hall of Famer down there, which is a great football tradition down there. Ended up playing some Canadian football, so kids like that they've got it, but because of where they're at, things like that fall into the radar, but they can make a huge difference at the next level.
Somebody make a call. I'm looking at you, Northwestern, Southwestern. Just saying, need a QB, that's a guy right there. That is a dude. All right, ready to begin the second half here at Boomer Stadium. 12 minutes back on the clock. Boomers lead 12-0, and of course, will receive the ball to begin the second half. Colt Moore, Cooper Littall back deep to return, about their own 10-yard line. Moore on the right hash, Littall on the left side.
Hey, real quick, I want to say this. FFA kids, those kids put in a lot of work.
Yes.
I'm looking over there at the barn. There's somebody out there working on their calf. You know, those people, it's amazing what the amount of time they can put into their stuff.
We had them on earlier in the week for their shooting sports accomplishment. We'll have to talk about that a little later, too. Kind of a sky kick here, pointed at the Boomers. Looks like, is that Profits again? Or Graff maybe, and he tries to flip it back to Moore. Moore puts it on the ground. Graff picks it back up at the 30 and gets knocked out of bounds. Finally, it was Graff. And interesting recognition by Graff to say, hey, no, I got to get this to Colt. Try to pitch it to him at the 30. And Colt maybe not quite ready for it. The Boomers, though, still with a decent return, will start in solid territory to begin the drive.
I like it. I think if I was, I would like to see Graff kind of sell it a little bit better, because he was coming across the field and you could tell he was trying to make that toss over there, sell it a little bit better, and draw the defense towards you. And that could have been a big play right there.
So Boomers take over at their own 37 is where they mark it, as Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers each side. Littall flanking them on the left side. Takes the snap. It's a handoff to Littall. Cuts it up the middle after looking outside initially to the right side. Crosses the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Solid gain for Littall on first down. 5 yards. Sits up 2nd and 5.
I'm looking. I don't know why I felt like I saw 2 instead of 3 on that carry.
Yeah.
No,
it's Coop.
Yeah, it is 3. Okay.
It's Coop.
It kind of looked like 2.
They both, I think, here's the difference. I think Collins a little bit bigger, just in terms of the muscle mass.
Yeah, size-wise. Yeah, he's a little bit thicker.
A little bit thicker. Cooper's a little bit more lanky, maybe. But they are very similar in terms of build. It's the 2nd and 5 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher again with the snap this time. Fakes the handoff. Takes to the left side. Has a hole to the 45 to the 50. Into Douglas territory at the 45 before a nice hit late. And he's taken down, but not before the Boomer first down. And Douglas Fisher just showing that explosiveness from the quarterback spot.
Hey, good job. I couldn't quite tell the 2 guys that had that those lead blocks, but when he made that little cut, they recognize that he makes that cut, and they take their hands completely off.
That adjustment we talked about from
they
first
knew
quarter.
that, hey, we can't do anything small to make it look like there's going to be a hole.
14-yard gain, 1st and 10 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher tries to keep it again. This time, Douglas stringing out the run to the right side. And Douglas Fisher will have to run out of bounds well behind the line of scrimmage. It looks like at the 49, back in Boomer territory.
Yeah, and the Boomers had a couple guys pulling to the near side. And unfortunately, Douglas didn't bite on the pulling offensive lineman, and they were able to have the advantage going across the far side.
So after the 14-yard gain, a 7-yard loss by Douglas Fisher makes it 2nd and 17. 10:40 remains in the 3rd quarter, just underway here to begin the second half as Woodward leads 12-0, trying to extend that. Douglas Fisher in the pistol, 2 receivers to the left side as well as the tight end, 1 receiver to the right. Littall in the backfield behind Douglas Fisher. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, will screen out to Jake Graff, trying to make a man miss across the 50, gets the 45, spins out of attack with the 40, the 35, still going at the 30. Before he's out of bounds, a flag, though, comes in. I think it's going to be a holding there on the edge. Couldn't tell which receiver was blocking out on the screen, but that's coming back. The coaching staff not agreeing, but.
Yeah, I saw Coach Harvey, and Coach Harvey kind of put his heads up and turned. I think Coach Harvey saw it happen, and he's letting him know about it right now.
Gotcha. So agreeing with the call. It looked like it was Cash Carter trying to block hard, but did a little too much, unfortunately.
Great job by Jake, though, making that little spin move. And, he just kind of kept his feet going with the initial contact, and as he spun, it just allowed him to break free a little bit. And even at the end of the play, he put his shoulder down and delivered a little bit of a shot as well.
Would have been a 21-yard gain. Now the holding backs it up for the 2nd and 17. It looks like it was far enough up the field the Boomers don't lose any yards on the holding. So repeat the down, essentially. 2nd and 17 for Woodward at the 49. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Littall motions out of the backfield. They go with the quick screen this time to Colt Moore, short side. Moore gets a couple blocks across the 50 to the 45. Gets back some of the original loss. Gain of 6 makes it 3rd and 11. Or 3rd and 12, excuse me.
I like the call right there. Don't try to do too much. You kind of hopefully try to kind of lull them back to sleep with something short there, and maybe you can make something happen with a bigger play.
So 3rd and 12 for the Boomers. 10 minutes remains third quarter. They lead 12-0. Douglas Fisher in the gun all by himself. Trips to the right, one receiver to the left as well as the tight end. Douglas Fisher thinking about the left side. Under pressure, ball's out as he almost gets sacked. Does get sacked. Now it's loose. Douglas falls on it. The Trojans get it in Boomer territory at the 45. Douglas Fisher found some backside pressure that came to him, and he just lost the handle of it, and Douglas takes over. Tough break for the Boomers on 3rd and long. That's just one of those turnovers, Eric, that you look at this point of the season, and you'll review it on film and say, guys, we've got to clean those up.
Yeah,
Can't afford those against Clinton.
And I think on that situation, Ryan kind of caught himself in the middle, trying to decide what he wanted to do. The ball was kind of out there, just extended just a little bit, and as soon as the contact was made, the ball slipped out. You know, he recognized that there was pressure coming. He was trying to make something happen. Unfortunately, he just kind of got in that in-between range of what should I do with it, and the ball slipped out.
So 1st and 10 for the Trojans at the Boomer 45. Perry in the pistol. 2 receivers each side. Man in the backfield with him. Looks to be Jones. Back to pass is Perry under immediate pressure. Levi Harris almost gets him. Now sets his feet, throws over the middle. Pass bobbled and incomplete as wide open was Adarius Tubbs underneath. Had come back to the ball but couldn't hold on to the pass.
There's multiple times the receivers for Douglas have done a good job of putting themselves in position to come back in the right spots to make a catch. That's the 3 or 4 drops we've seen tonight.
But boy, how about Levi Harris again, just firing off right in the
he's
face.
All over the place.
So 2nd and 10 for Douglas. 9:38 remains third quarter. In Boomer territory at the 45 as the Boomers lead 12-0. Trying to complete this one, get the first win of the season, first district win as well. Before heading to that tough contest against Clinton next week on Thursday. That's Perry in the pistol. Receiver each side. 2 tight ends on the set as well for Douglas. Man in the backfield is Jones. They'll swing it to Jones. Well behind the line of scrimmage. And the Boomers all over it yet again. Levi Harris, Bowen Borden. First 2 there.
Yeah. So I think there was also Colin Boren actually back there as well. Looks like he got a hand in there. So there's, once that, and we've seen this multiple times, once that somebody gets a hand on somebody, the rest of the team comes in there to finish them off. And that was another example right there.
Loss of 7 on the play. Sits up 3rd and long for Douglas at their own 48 now. 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Got to get all the way to the Boomer 35. As Perry in the pistol. Double tight sit again. And a receiver each side of the formation. Jones behind Perry in the backfield. He's back to pass. Under some pressure immediately. Trying to get out of the pocket. Does to the right side. Has to just throw it away, though. And a late flag comes in as Cooper Gregory was on him. And hopefully this is not a roughing the passer, but it might be Gregory.
No. We got a block in the back.
Okay, we'll take it. Okay, I was a bit worried because Gregory was around there, was pursuing. And so they're calling a block in the back. So add insult to injury there for Douglas. So the Boomers probably just decline this, obviously, and bring up the 4th and 17.
Yeah, and I think Douglas is trying to figure out exactly what happened there, but
it looked like Tyler Jones, running back, was the one that was called for it, and it was indeed declined.
Tyler, I'm going to say this. I'm glad we have an open window tonight.
Yeah.
Allow a little bit of this air.
Yeah, it's nice and cool.
Feels
now.
great outside. Usually we're hot and sweaty up here.
We commandeered the middle part of the press box since nobody's been up here. So, you know what? We're taking it because we're like that.
It's nice having a window open and getting crowd noise and all that kind of stuff.
It is. It is. 4th and 17 for Douglas. 8:42 remains of the third quarter as they'll bring on their punt team. And Latal will be back to receive it, standing by his own 25. About 23. Probably will maybe back up to 20. Those punts have been short, though, for the Trojans so far. With Jordan Hawkins, the freshman, the punter.
I think the Boomers trying to figure it. I don't think we're going to go at them this time. I think a lot of it had to do with not knowing, what they were going to actually come out and do. We're kind of playing more of a safe.
Snap clean. This actually a nice punt But right to Littall, filled it inside the 25, about the 23, has a lane down the right side, gets a key block to the 40, 45 before he's dragged out of bounds. Late flag comes in. Looked like Levi Harris could tell who made the block. They might have got a flag on that.
And if it's where we think it might have been, that's frustrating because Cooper was already up the field a good 5 yards.
One of those where you look on film and say, hey, don't need to make that block. He's already past it. So, and I think they've signaled holding already, so it is coming back. Unfortunate. So that wipes away what would have been up to the 45 for the Boomers. That's the one thing tonight. Those penalties definitely hurt a bit.
And we've seen that multiple times this year where the Boomers have been called for a hold or a block in the back, but the play has already gone past them. You know, you like the fact that they're working hard, but you've got to be a little bit more aware of where the ball's at.
Yeah, and you've got a young team, and that, we talked to Coach about that, and he's basically telling them right now, hey, don't worry about it. I want you playing hard. That's first and foremost. With the young guys, that's the right approach. That's something that you kind of clean up as they mature a bit. And so they'll take over at their own 21, will the Boomers, with 8:30 remaining third quarter after the penalty. Ryan Douglas Fisher leads the team back on the field. They're feeling the vibes from the band. That's where we need the commentators cam to see you.
No, I'm glad we don't have that camera up here.
Two receivers each side for Douglas Fisher. Littall in the backfield with them. Takes the handoff, does Littall up the middle. Cuts up to the 30, or the 25-yard line, excuse me. Gets a gain of about 4. They give him the 26, so call it a gain of 5. And that's something that's been encouraging for the Boomers all night long, Eric, is the ability to say, okay, first down, if we just want to run for 4 or 5, put ourselves ahead of the chains or on schedule, if you will, they've been able to do that.
Yeah, overall, it's good to see the offensive line be able to get that foot. We saw it at times last week against Cash. I think maybe some fatigue got to us a little bit last week, and that's kind of the reason why that kind of fell apart late. But, they're playing really well tonight, and you like to see them keep it up.
2nd and 5, the screen pass out to Cole Moore. Makes man miss the backfield up to the 35, near the 40 before he's laid with the good hit. Pops right back up. A nice first down for Cole Moore. Call it a gain of 14. And that little quick screen to the short side has really paid dividends tonight for Woodward. Another one there. As Moore showing the shiftiness yet again in the open field. Somebody's got a flash camera. It's really messing with it. Right back at James. James, turn off the flash.
He's taking pictures of cheerleaders right
First and 10 for the Boomers. Hand off to Littall. Short side. Gets out of a couple tackles down the sideline to the 40. Cuts it back at the 30. The 20 into the open field for Littall. Tracked down on the tackle.
It's coming back.
Keon Hudson, the junior, able to track him down. He mentioned a flag well back in the backfield. So it's coming all the way back. That's got to be a bit frustrating, as Littall made a great move to find some space down the sideline, free himself up for that run. And it is coming back. So, and a good cutback in the open field, too, by Littall. So wipe away what would have been a 1st and goal situation. That's just kind of been, unfortunately, the theme of the night for the Boomer offense, still without a touchdown of their own.
Yeah, and I think Coach Gordon's kind of trying to figure out exactly where the hold was.
Right.
He's not necessarily arguing the call itself, and I think with the type of hole that Cooper is able to run through, he knew, there was probably something there. He's just trying to figure out what it was.
Well, and it's one of those deals where trying to figure things out in terms of the what's acceptable and what is not. So 1st and 20 for the Boomers after the holding call. 7:23 remains in the third quarter. They lead 12-0. At their own 30 now, Douglas Fisher in the gun. Trips to the right, one to the left. Fake the handoff. They go with the trips right. It's a little tunnel screen to Jake Graff. He gets a decent block upfield. Gets back a lot of the penalty yards. Nope. Late penalty comes in, and this one might be on Luke Talley, I think, got a block in the back, unfortunately. That one was a little bit more clear. Yeah, that's what it was. Talley, one of those blocks where he thinks it's a good idea, and the guy was did not turn towards him. So you get a holding and then a block in the back by Talley. Now move it back another 10. We gain back most of the penalty yardage. And Luke Talley at that time committing the block in the back was one of those situations where he's trying to block on the edge for that tunnel screen and just it's one where if you don't see the guy's face, you can't touch him. Unfortunately, you do.
Yeah. You know, again, we talk about it, young guys. You want to make something happen. You have this opportunity to make something happen. You just got to, know when to pull back and not do too much.
So it's only a 3-yard loss due to it being up the field. 1st and 23 now for Woodward. At their own 27, Douglas Fisher goes with the screen pass. Lataw has to bat it to himself a bit. Shakes one defender, fights forward across the almost to the 30. And Boomers better be careful here. There's some hands.
Yeah, I think we got a swing there.
Yeah, one of the Douglas players, Trey Oyasarode, was tied up with one of the Douglas defenders and was trying to get off of him. Douglas defender did not like it as Trey's helmet came off. And he got touched on a bit there. So this might go in the Boomers' favor, as it was going to be about a 3-yard gain. And the motion's running a little high for the Trojans right now, as Oyasarode had a block way downfield.
Yeah, if you know anything about Trey, he's not the type of kid who's going to try to do the extracurricular things to, to really drive it in there. I think exactly what happened. He just kind of got the Douglas player got under him. He was trying to get up as Trey was trying to move, and they got tangled up.
Well, and it was one of those plays where Trey's kind of dominated the block, right? So Douglas player didn't like that. And that does happen sometimes. So we'll have a officials timeout as they talk about it, figure out what the call will be, whether if it's a dueling unsportsmanlike or just on Douglas. Great Plains Bank, heritage, trust, respect, those are the things that make Great Plains Bank great. Deep roots across Oklahoma and Texas, they are in touch with the communities in which their customers live and work. Also Compass Athletics, from sports equipment to championship trophies and everything in between. Visit them 2024 Main Street in Woodward or call 580-256-7045. Great Plains Bank, Compass Athletics, powering Boomer Sports all season long.
Great job by the officials and Douglas coaching staff to
quickly
jump out there, because it looked like that was about to get out of hand really quickly. And like I said, I'm hoping that I don't say I like to see a kid get I don't like to say I hope a kid gets tossed, but there was a swing, there was a punch thrown to what it looked like to me. So you hope the officials recognize that and kind of send that message.
Right, and that's the thing, right? You're not necessarily hoping the kid gets tossed, but just say, hey, just keep control of the game. This is what we're going to do. Now they'll discuss with both coaches after the officials talked it over amongst themselves. Kind of fill in the coaches on the situation. It was, like I said, it was a little extracurricular. I think Trey was trying to get up, but the Douglas player did take it that way, and then they started kind of getting a little physical. As you mentioned, a punch may be thrown. So see how the call turns out. Trey's helmet wound up coming off in the middle of that. And now we'll get the White Hats call. Unsportsmanlike. And now he checks back. Okay, he's about to give the signal.
Yeah, and I think that I have a feeling it may be an ejection here.
So unsportsmanlike against Douglas.
Yeah.
And the player is ejected. And that was Zamarius Zagler, the young sophomore who nearly scored the touchdown previously. So he got a little too heated. Defensive back on the lineman there. So Ziegler gone from the game. And that should give Woodward the first down. And they did give Woodward a sideline warning as well. So an unsportsmanlike on Douglas.
And now if you are the officials now at this point, you've got to do everything you can. It might have to get tighter here, because things are now a little heated. The coaching staff for Douglas, they were out there doing some arguing. They had to hold the player back after the call. So, you've got to be smart here as the officials, try to get this game under control. And if you're the Boomers, you've got to, hey, let's go up top right now. You try to
sudden change in
this a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like not a first down, so they'll say it's 2nd and 7 after the penalty, 15-yard penalty. So Boomers 2nd and 7 from their own 43. Douglas Fisher in the gun, goes with the handoff to Lataw. Timing a bit off, though, as the snap a touch high, and Lataw only able to get back to the line of scrimmage. So it brings up 3rd down.
Let's see, even on that tackle, the way he made that tackle, he was trying, it looked like he was trying to send a message. You kind of took him and drove him into the ground, and, I don't know. It was just one of those that it felt like you could tell that the emotions are high.
Right.
Even on that tackle.
And it's 2 younger teams, too. That's probably part of it.
2 teams that struggle with discipline.
Yeah. So 3rd and 6 for the Boomers now from their 44. He gave him a yard. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right for Douglas Fisher. Back to pass, looking right side. Jump ball thrown up for Colt Moore, trying to make the catch. And again, clean defense by Douglas in the secondary. That one, Sante Bosley, the senior, again with the coverage, 6'2", able to match Colt Moore's height and swat it away. Not often you see a 6'2" defensive back. That's probably a factor in that. So it brings up 4th and 6 for the Boomers. 6:12 remains in the 3rd quarter as they'll bring on the punt unit. And to return for the Trojans will be Adarius Stubbs. Clean snap to Graff and a whistle before or on the snap, I should say.
Yeah, there was.
Looked like people weren't quite set for play yet, maybe. I don't think it was penalty. I think the officials just were saying, hey, we weren't ready to play that one yet. Hadn't got the signal to play it. And that was the case. Now the Boomers will retry it here and wait for the official signal. And there it is. Another clean snap to Graff. Solid punt here, carried well over the head of Tubbs. And that one going to take a nice bounce, almost directly out of bounds, around the 10, maybe a little further. Now there's another flag coming in.
I think this might be against.
And a bit more trippiness. Not sure there. It's near the Douglas sideline, about the 35-yard line.
I think this is going to go against the Boomer. Maybe a personal foul as well. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But
Coach Gordon, Eric here, gathering the whole team to try to say, hey, we need to refocus. Yeah. And that's a smart decision. Bring his team in, say, hey, guys, you got to cut this out. That's him realizing, okay, still got a young team. There's some immaturity there. Need to refocus them a little bit.
Right. Okay.
So just a holding call.
Just a holding call. I'll take that. Because what I saw was it looked like Austin Rowland laid a kid out. That it kind of an unnecessarily blindside type of situation. Which he's one of those kids we have seen. He gets fired up.
Well, and he's a kid, to that point, a junior, but has never played football until the season.
Right.
So
he gets excited. Right. All that kind of stuff. Ready to take it. Ready. And you want kids. You want kids that are going to go out there, deliver shots, not be scared, not think too much about it. You got to, whenever the emotions are heightened, like it is right now in this game, you've got to figure out how to rein that in.
So the penalty moves Douglas up to their own 21-yard line. Was at the 11. As will be Perry in the pistol. 2 receivers to the left, or to the right, excuse me, 1 to the left. They pitch it over to Jones. A flag comes in the backfield is Jones. Ooh, nice tackle by Mason Boyd, who flies in and just chops him out.
I think we're going to have a block in the back.
And Jones got essentially maybe a yard on the play, if that.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold.
Hold.
He threw the flag on in another spot than actually what I saw for the block in the back. So I guess we'll take the hold.
Boy, Mason Boyd, when he gets downhill, he can play some lumber. We've seen that.
Yeah, and that's one thing Mason's pretty good at is, understanding what angles to take. I talked about angles earlier in the game. He's a smart kid. Mason is the type, he's a very academically minded kid. And, he recognized the fact that, hey, I take this angle, I can go in there and I can deliver a shot.
And a shout out to the production guy right now for Boomer TV, Chris Godwin. Mason plays soccer. He's played soccer for a long time. That's a sport that helps you figure out how to take angles.
Angles are awesome. Understanding angles are great in soccer.
So 1st and 20 for Douglas now. The Trojans have it at their own 11. Perry in the pistol again. 2 receivers to the right as well as a tight end. 1 to the left. Perry rolling to the right side, looking to pass under some pressure. Floats a pass about the 30, batted in the air, picked off by the Boomers. Looks like Brody Province comes up with it. He goes down the sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 15. And the Boomers defense yet again.
There is a flag, and it may be it's going to be a hold. Okay, thank goodness.
Okay.
I think.
we'll see. There's a flag, and there's a Douglass player down. They've had a couple unfortunate injuries as well here. And another flag on the near side.
And I think this flag on the near side may be kind of on the celebration side of things.
Okay, so might back the Boomers up a bit. It was tipped up in the air.
Nope, they did give a roughing the passer.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I was.
And then a block in the back on the return, which is decline.
So the roughing the passer is what I was scared, what I thought I saw when I saw the initial flag, and then it looked like he kind of signaled a holding penalty, and a Douglass kid kind of got fired up about it, and so then I made me question it. But yeah, as he made that throw downfield, he was barely pushed, hit the ground after the push, just because of the.
So nothing vicious.
Right, it wasn't a vicious thing, but it was there.
Douglass player up. It looks like Juanez Ziegler, the one slow to get up.
And I think he was the intended receiver.
Right. Was in the middle of some coverage.
He was hit right as the ball got to him. It popped up, and Brody Province was one who made the interception.
And unfortunately, with the roughing the passer, that will give it back to the Trojans. So negate the interception by Province, and the Trojans keep the possession and get the first down off the roughing the passer. They move up to the 26. So unfortunate there. Now the Boomer defense got to come back onto the field. They weren't realizing that the roughing the passer negated. So 5:45 remaining in third quarter. Woodward leads 12-0, but Douglass with the possession, given new life after the roughing the passer. As Perry in the pistol for the Trojans, 2 receivers each side, man the backfield with him as well.
And I will say on that roughing the passer, it was one of those situations where he wasn't trying to knock him down necessarily, but I think he made just enough contact, and because the quarterback fell, that's where they're going to throw that flag.
So snap to Perry under immediate pressure. Look at the pass. Trip Bates on the ball, comes out. The Boomers pick it up. It's a scoop. It's going to be a score by Kason Boyd. Trip Bates forced it out. Kason Boyd scoop and score.
We got some flags over there on the other side.
Boy, flag happy. So I don't think this one's coming back though.
Yeah. When I saw him kind of go out across the outside, I saw the ball. He was kind of had the ball as he was running out. And I was like, man, if somebody gets in there and make a hit, that ball's coming out. Sure enough, a great job by Case and being able to pick that up and keep his momentum going.
May have been some player flags, not necessarily an actual flags they got picked up. So not an actual penalty flag.
Yeah, no. It looked like
we got pink flags tonight and then pink towels, so got to bear with us on that. So Kason Boyd, the scoop and score. Trip Bates with the forced fumble. The defense has scored both touchdowns tonight. As the extra point by Ryan Douglas Fisher is good. And so with 5:36 left in the third quarter, a look at your Just Well Chevrolet scoreboard. The Boomers lead 19-0 over Douglas Fisher, over the Douglas Trojans after the scoop and score by Kason Boyd. Just Well Chevrolet and Shattuck is where honesty is not just a word, it's how they drive every deal. Visit JustWellChevrolet.com. Call them 580-938-2122. Also, Pioneer defensive stand there by the Boomers. Unleash tomorrow's potential with Pioneer Internet and get speed and reliability. Serve, stream, stay connected with Pioneer Fiber. Man.
Yeah, the thing is for me, and I'll say it, and I love the fact that our defense is making plays. You know, they're scored both touchdowns, all that kind of stuff. Well, offense have got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, all the opportunities the offense has had, they still haven't been able to capitalize on anything. And so that's I don't want to say that's scary because we know the offense has struggled this year.
Well, and it's been the penalties. It's not that the offense is necessarily struggling per se. It's been the penalties sitting you at, 1st and 20, and you're well behind the sticks.
Right. You know, but that's the thing. You get behind the six, and then you can't get any kind of momentum
Absolutely.
going. You know, you still got to be able to counter those penalties when you have the opportunity to. We haven't been able to do that.
There's the kick by Douglas Fisher. This one curling to the 5, takes a bounce near the goal line, picked up on a hop by Hudson, and a huge hit by the Boomers. Plants Hudson. And Casey Bourne, after the scoop and score, lays the lumber at the 5.
Man, he hit, and I don't think the returner saw him coming.
No, he was turned to the side a little bit.
And he delivered that shot and stuck him.
Yeah, don't give Casey Bourne a free shot at you. That's not a guy you want coming downhill at you full speed. Whew.
Now the Boomer defense has another opportunity to deliver another big blow. They've gotten so much penetration, against Douglass that, let's go at them and see if we can get a safety here, cause them to make another mistake and, potentially get a touchdown.
Well, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Douglass, the team looking for their identity still. Boomers, we know the defense is here. We know that, and it's proven itself again tonight. As it'll be the Trojans in the gun. And it looks like maybe a bit of a wildcat formation is currently O'Brien Bell Jr. lined up in the shotgun.
Yeah, I think that we got somebody running on the field here.
Maybe the quarterback. Perry might not have realized. Yeah, it was Perry. So Perry was like, hey, where's the offense? Play clock down to 7 as he'll be in the pistol with Bell behind him. 2 receivers each side. High snap. Quick pass out. Caught by Jones on the outside. The Boomers trying to get to him. Does have a short gain. He's dragged back and taken down. Another just absolute gain tackle by the Boomers after a short gain of 2 for Jones.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was one of those situations where, again, there was a missed tackle that just slowed him down enough for everybody to come in and finish him off, which you got to see that anyways, But and I think did we just have a flag go up?
Did we?
I thought I saw something go up in the air and then whistles blow. But
oh yeah, there was a flag. And it was a gain of 3, they'll say officially, towards the 8.
So we know this is going to be an unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, Douglas thinking it's all the Boomers. As they were discussing. Goes back to the conversation of, hey, exciting, you're making plays, gotta stay within your mental state though.
Right.
Because this was in between plays, there's no action on the field. So that means some words.
It was definitely drawing back and forth.
Right.
It's just who's this going to actually be on.
R5 Custom Embroidery. When you work with R5 Custom Embroidery, you can count on a quick, fun, and enjoyable process with the results that consistently exceed the expectations. Go chat with your screen printing experts about customized apparel. Visit 817 Main Street in Woodward or call 580-256-3579. R5 powering Boomer Sports all season. As they're still discussing the call here. It's unsportsmanlike. The official's timeout.
Official's timeout.
Not sure what that is here, so didn't announce a penalty per se, but took an official's timeout, and I'll talk to both coaches. So
and maybe maybe they're just going to kind of wave off the flag itself and say, get your teams under control.
Right.
And
Coach Gordon bringing everybody in again. Western Drug, visit them 1021 Oklahoma Avenue in Woodward. They've got friendly and caring staff, a drive-through window that is really convenient. Always excellent service as well. Call them 580-256-5586. Western Drug, powering Boomer Sports throughout the season.
Hey, maybe this is one of those things where, like as many things as we felt like have been wrong with the officiating crew, this is one thing they've done right, where it's like, hey, guys, let's get too out of hand. I said earlier, they're going to probably have to have a short leash on this game, and maybe this is that moment where they try to send a message to the players saying no more warnings.
Well, and like I said earlier, too, when it is a bit more of a jawing back and forth game, the officials have to be tired. So when we see these holding calls, these blocking the backs, it's not because they're just wanting to throw a flag. It's maybe more of a message of, hey, I'm watching you close because we are having some of this jawing.
Yeah. I just got a text from somebody saying, how many penalties? A lot.
There's a lot. We're probably up to a good double digits on both sides. And so they waved off the flag. I think you're right. Not necessarily giving the flag, but calming teams down. So 2nd and 7, handoff up the gut this time to Jones for Douglas. And here, excuse me, that was Bell, and he gets spun down at the 15-yard line near the stick, took a good hit on the backside.
Yeah, Kason Boren chased him down from behind and got his arms around the shoulders and pulled him down.
They say only a gain of 6. So 3rd and 1 for Douglas at their own 8 now. 4:35 remains third quarter. Boomers lead 19-0.
I feel like penalty-wise, this feels reminiscent of a couple weeks ago when we were Kansas.
And Dodge, yeah. That game started out with a lot of penalties. But it kind of calmed down.
I'm thinking Cold.
Oh, you're talking South Central Laverne. Yes. That one started out, entire first half, a lot of penalties. It was, no question. Saw an ejection in that game, too. Yeah. So 3rd and 1 for Douglas, trying to hand off to Bell. Did the Boomers plug him up? They might have. He needed to get, it looked like, to the 9, maybe the 10. Or, excuse me, to the 15 or the 14.
Yeah, he definitely did not get that.
And they did stop him short at the 14. So 4th and 1 for Douglas. No gain on the carry by Bell. Host of Boomers in on the tackle line of scrimmage. D-line yet again doing some work.
Yeah, for the Boomers, I would almost say watch out for the fake here. You know, it's kind of one of those where you just think, why would you fake it? But, you know, the difference isn't that big of a difference as far as with the amount of time. If you kind of catch them off guard, you've only got a yard to worry about.
Well, you Douglas would be searching for any sort of momentum.
Right, you know, and so, you know, try to throw something out. I don't think it'll happen, especially the way they're lining up, but you never know.
And now he whistling a flag. Delay of game.
Now it's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, because now it's backed up to a 4th and 6 as the play clock did run down to 0. Douglas a little late getting some players on the field.
And now if you're the Boomers, pin your ears back and go at them.
Yeah, because this punt goes from being, you know, about the 5 or so to you're at your own goal line. Punting this. A couple yards deep. So 4th and 6 for Douglas. Boomers forcing another punt here in the third quarter. Bit of a high snap, has to take it himself, sure enough. Kind of bailed on the punt and doesn't get the first down, trips up near the 14-yard line. The Boomers take over 1st and 10 in the red zone.
Yeah, don't think that was
again, not a design fake. Yeah, just a high snap, and the Boomers were coming.
Yeah, and he may have been able to pull that down just enough to get the punt off. You know, who knows? But yeah, it may have been the right decision for him to just say, hey, I'm going to get what I can get. You know, because if it gets blocked right now, you know, that's probably a touchdown or a safety. So now, again, it goes back. The offense has to capitalize right here.
Offense looking for their first touchdown of the game at the Douglas 13s, where they'll take over. 3:02 remains third quarter. Woodward leads 19-0. As Douglas Fisher in the gun, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Littall in the backfield. They go with the handoff. Littall, though, losing the handle of it. It's on the ground. Boomers try to fall on it. And we'll see if the Boomers got it or not. Just bad timing there. Bit of a higher snap. And Douglas recovers. Wow. So Boomers immediately cough it up with a fumble.
Yep. I don't know. I couldn't quite tie. That was definitely a, you know, where I think the handoff, Ryan was trying to get the handoff. It looked like he may have got the ball up a little high on Cooper's chest, towards his face mask.
And there was pressure up the gut as well.
The momentum, it all kind of came together.
So Douglas takes it right back over, 2:56 remaining in the third quarter. They'll be at their own 17-yard line. And you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, felt like a game Woodward could make some mistakes, still win. Thankfully, it's happening. But definitely going to be some things for coach and crew to want to clean up going into Clinton next week.
I just didn't anticipate this many mistakes, to be honest with you.
1st and 10 for the Trojans. A little pitch play, timing a bit off there to Jones. He gets spun down. Trying to see who that was for the Boomers. Looks like Levi Harris again on it as Jones tried to cut back. Harris playing the cutback lane. Excuse me, that was Bell on the carry. As Douglas does like to rotate some of those backs.
If you're the Boomer defense, you can't get too, you know, worried about what's happening on the other side of the ball. You've got to come out there, you know, and still do your job every time. Because you know, when something's not going right as a part of somewhere in the game, it could easily get in your head, even if you're doing the right thing. You got to continue got to continue to work and be making the difference you're making.
2nd and 11 for Douglass now as Perry in the pistol. A bit of a high snap. Pressure on him immediately. Casenborn flies in. It's a sack.
No.
Oh, they say he's down. I think they say he's down. I think that one's the right call.
Now,
Yeah.
well, at least it was much closer.
Yes, yes. Yes. But Casenborn just in the blitz, went through the gap, clean hit to the quarterback. Nearly forced the fumble, and it'll be 3rd and long for Douglas. It's backed up inside their own 5 to the 4 now.
And I like it. Boomers had a safety blitz on that as well. Collinborn was in the backfield as well in on that.
Gave him the 5. A little bit of forward progress still, though. Douglas now having to get to the 22 for the first. 3rd and 17. Minute 25 remains third quarter. Boomers lead 19-0 over the Trojans. As Perry will be in the pistol, receiver each side, double tight set. Man in the backfield behind him.
Collins blitzing again.
Perry looking to the near side. Oh, pass almost intercepted by Dominique Gordon as that was intended for Adarius Tubbs. Perry just threw it up one-on-one there, kind of short and inside, and Gordon tried to go for the one hand.
And I'm telling you, the Boomer coaching staff had that sniffed out from the beginning. They actually had Dom move more towards the middle of the field, and it looked to me like they were kind of basically telling them, hey, get the angle. Make sure you can get the angle to go in there and make that play. And sure enough, I mean, as soon as the quarterback got the ball, he had already started breaking that way.
So it brings up 4th down for the Trojans yet again. Another defensive stand for the Boomers. As this one punting deep in the own end zone here again. And now a false start, it looks like, on Douglas. So backing up half the distance. So this punt will be almost near the back line of the end zone.
I might have to go back on Boomer TV and watch this and just count the penalties.
I mean, I could count them up on my sheet, but it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a long minute here. Because we're well over double digits, I think, for both teams.
And granted, I'm not most of the penalties have been warranted.
Sure.
Oh, there we go.
And the Boomers get the block on the punt, and who falls on it in the end zone? It's at least a safety, if not a touchdown. We'll see the call.
I think Douglas was one who was able to fall on it.
And it is a safety as Douglas fell on it. So the Boomers defense, or special teams, I should say, another big play. Their 2nd safety scored of the night.
And that was another one of those, you know, it was a low kick. Poor snap, but the Boomers were all over the backfield at that in the end zone. And it would have been one of those situations where if it didn't get blocked, it found the smallest hole to get through.
After getting a lot of safety scored on you this year, it's nice to get some of them back finally on the other end for the Boomers.
Yes.
And this has got to be the oddest way to get to 21-0, I think. I think it is.
2 defensive touchdowns.
2 defensive touchdowns, 2 safeties.
And a field goal.
And a field goal.
We did get a field goal.
And a field goal. That's right.
That's
got to be the oddest way.
As much as I've been talking about, you know, the offensive struggles, you know, I don't want to take away anything from the defense and what they've been doing.
Oh, absolutely not.
And this is I talk about it all the time. As you're growing as a program, you've got to learn how to win. And this is one of those games where even though the mistakes have been there, we've done everything we can to not win this game. We've had a part of the team, the defense, say, hey, we're just going to go out there and we're just going to make sure we win this game no matter what. You know, and so to me, that's another step forward, even within the mistakes on the offensive side.
Because we've seen in the past, to your point, where the offense would struggle, the defense is seeing that struggle, and they'd make plays, but eventually they'd run out of gas. This defense is not running out of gas at any point tonight.
No, and I think I mean, really, we saw it last week where the defense, you know, Cash put up some points, but, you know, the defense for the most part played well the whole night.
And now here's the kick from their own 20 for Douglas. Bit of a high, short one. Boomers trying to fill it off a bit of an odd bounce. It looks like that might be Brody Profits again. Taking it from near the 50, chopped down near the 40-yard line as he kind of takes an extra fall there.
I think Brody sees these opportunities to take the ball. He did some running, played some running back in, I know at least last year, probably in 7th grade. Brody's been a big kid. Brody runs the ball pretty well, and I think that he likes these opportunities to get the ball in the kickoff and try to pick up some yards.
That one might not win at him a little bit after he got chopped down. But Woodward takes over. 1st and 10 at Douglass territory at the 41. Minute 2 left in the third quarter. Been a longer third quarter with the penalties and some of the stoppages. As Douglas Fisher in the gun, trips to the right side, one to the left. Littall flanking the right side as well in the running back spot. They fake the handoff, go to Graff on the short screen again. Get some good blocks on the edges. Cuts near the upfield, across the 30, down to the 25, inside there to the 21. And those were about as good of blocks as you could get, just fanning them out and letting Graff have a huge hole.
Yeah, that was a well-designed, well-executed screenplay by the Boomers.
So get the crowd cheer for the no flag on the play. Jeez. They give the 23 officially, it looks like. Maybe an equipment issue for one of the Boomers there. Not sure what the stoppage is here.
They called it an official timeout. I have a slight feeling they're going to say something about the no flags on the PA.
Oh, boy. It's an 18-yard pass for the Boomers on 1st down. As they talk about it.
Looks like they're trying to figure out something on maybe scoreboard or up here.
Okay. Salient State Bank now with the branch in Woodward, their new location, 2314 Williams Avenue. Salient State Bank Woodward branch offers full service banking, including personal checking, savings, home and commercial loans, mobile online banking as well, and wire transfers, much more. Salient State Bank Woodward branch, powering Boomer Sports this season. So we figure out kind of what the deal was, Eric?
Well, they're still trying to. They're having KG go talk to.
Is there maybe an unruly fan or something?
Yeah, it looks like they went and talked to a school resource officer, so I don't know if they're asking to have somebody removed.
Yeah, very well may be the case. Unfortunately, as a fan, you got to keep your cool. No matter what you feel.
They called for Coach Norton to come over there. He's going out to talk to the Whitecap right now.
It's been one of those nights. Motion's running hot on both sides. Of course, the play stands for the Boomers. It's not a penalty necessarily. So they will have it 1st and 10 at the Douglass 23 once we resume play with 51 seconds remaining in third quarter. Mr. Sunderland down there as well, figuring things out with them. We're still waiting. As Boomers lined up, Douglas is lined up. They're saying, hey, let's play. Coach Turner giving the explanation from the white hat. And so 1st and 10 for Woodward as we resume play. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers to the left as well as the tight end. 1 to the right. Littall in the backfield with him. Flanking right side. This time they hand it off to Littall. Goes a little bit out. Gets the hold on the left side to the 20, 15, 10. Cuts it back near the 5 and trying to fight forward. Drug out of bounds at about the 2, maybe the 3. Nice run by Cooper Littall. Went wide on the play. Kind of dug behind the line of scrimmage and found the sideline for it looks like a 20-yard gain. So back-to-back big momentum plays for the Boomers. The offense.
Tremendous football player.
Trying to get their first score.
Reads his receivers, reads the breaks. He missed a couple tonight, but he hit some guys right square and strike. Now, is he a senior? He plays like a senior. He's not a senior.
He's not a senior. In fact, you mentioned that. He was not even the starting quarterback coming into the regular season.
Oh, my.
Remington Laughlin, who was number 10 for Mangum, was the starting quarterback, an excellent quarterback, made the quarterback cast over the summer.
But
he has the shoulder issue.
Tight end on the right side as well.
When he raises his hand above his head, it goes behind the ear, the shoulder pops out.
And looking to pass over the middle, late completer. I say over the middle left side.
You saw him on the skip pass, gave a touchdown to Colton Gillespie. But
I think Douglas was able to.
He being the young man you thought that was a senior, is actually a freshman.
So I make it second and goal for the Boomers.
And wasn't even scheduled, as we said, to start.
In the third
His
quarter.
brother is number 1 in the lineup that you saw.
As they did move it to the 3 on that run by Littall.
It's always good to hear a little bit of Leland Searcy.
I tell you, it sounded like he's talking to Michael Barnes as well, so probably wrapping up that Moreland Mangum game. As Searcy was there at Interline Field as well. Of course, Barnes calling the game. Douglas Fisher in the pistol. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Handoff inside to Lataw, fighting forward down to the 1, but stopped short of the goal line. Yeah, just a couple inches short. Lataw trying to find his way in. He'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 1, maybe inside it for the Boomers. Again, Woodward offense trying to get their first touchdown of the night. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. Final play of it. Woodward will take a 21-0 lead into the 4th over the Douglas Trojans. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Life never stops moving. Between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety you expect, you can lose track of the miles and focus on what really matters, the memories made along the way. Stop in today at 2220 Main in Woodward to see your local Michelin dealer, Pipe Lanes Tire.
Feel safe and secure with Arlo Wireless Outdoor Camera, available at Pioneer. Arlo offers top-notch protection with crystal clear video quality, rain or shine. Monitor your home from anywhere with remote smartphone access, whether you're at home or on the go. Arlo keeps you connected to what matters most. Trust Arlo and Pioneer to keep your home safe and secure. Visit GoPioneer.com to get your Arlo wireless cameras today.
For more than a century, Bank of Western Oklahoma has stood by our communities, understanding the unique culture and values that make Western Oklahoma special. As a locally owned and operated bank since 1908, we're not just bankers, we're your neighbors. We've seen generations grow, businesses flourish, and farms thrive. And we've been there every step of the way. Trust in a bank that shares your roots and works as hard as you do. Bank of Western Oklahoma, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
And welcome back as we begin the 4th quarter. At Stadium, Woodward in control, 21-0 over the Douglas Trojans, and a chance to add to it on 3rd and goal. They've got it at the Douglas 1. Douglas Fisher under center for the Boomers. Tall in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Tight end on the right side as well. Douglas Fisher just trying to QB sneak it in. Powers it through and's got the touchdown. The Boomers extend their lead to start the 4th quarter.
I mean, the mechanics of the touchdown call was pretty rough, but they got the touchdown.
Had to confirm it. Had to make sure they saw what they saw, so we'll take it. As the Boomers looking to make it 28-0 on the Just Wells Chevrolet scoreboard.
I think they were kind of saying put a box on my head. That's what the...
Oh, Rick.
Sorry, I'm getting fired up now. I'm starting to get fired up about a few things.
It's an exciting time. We've got a 4-touchdown lead for the Boomers.
Unfortunately, other things are taking away from that right now.
Right. Douglas Fisher with the extra point attempt. Ooh, that one off his foot a bit wrong. And so that's no good.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Was that that may have been a bad hold type situation.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it was a bit odd there on that exchange. Still, though, Boomers lead 27-0, well in control to begin the 4th quarter. M&D Enterprises and Lawnmower Shop for your best lawn, porch, or patio. M&D Enterprises and the Lawnmower Shop are your people. They carry everything you need to make your greenscape that little piece of heaven you have always dreamed of. Locations in Woodward, Ken, and Weatherford. M&D Enterprises and Lawnmower Shop, powering Boomer Sports. As Woodward now, I mean, Eric, it's pretty simple. Just don't do anything too crazy. Don't let Douglas get any momentum rolling. You should get out of here with your first win of the season.
Yeah, one thing and we talked about this with Elgin, and I kind of got frustrated. I felt like they were trying to run the score at times.
Sure.
But I kind of hope the Woodward coaching staff doesn't let off when they have opportunities. And it has nothing to do with
I know, that's why your face there. It cracks me up. You're like, you know what? Maybe.
But, you know, the fact that the offense has struggled so much tonight, if you can do some things to get some of that confidence back, you know, and might as well keep trying to do it. Once you hit a certain point, if it gets there, yeah, you got to pull back. You know, but you still got to continue to work because you got a big game coming up next week as well. So.
Yeah, it's not personal against Douglass, but to your point, that Clinton game is going to be a whole different contest.
Right, and I don't think there's a lot of confidence right now on the offensive side of the ball for the Boomers.
As they'll kick it off, Douglas Fisher skies it. Picked up by, looks like Tubbs on the return near the 15-yard line. Scoots up to the 25. The Boomers hold him up and push him out of bounds. Probably give him, or excuse me, that's Keon Hudson. Probably give him a little forward progress at 25.
Looks like Brody Province and maybe Reese Dirk. Is that number change throwing me off on who?
Yeah, Durkee now 38 tonight because of the pink out jerseys.
So, two freshmen right there making plays on that kick return.
Yeah, they gave Douglas not as much forward progress as they thought. The Trojans start at the 22-yard line, not the 25. See, I was trying to be generous. Trying to be nice.
Stop being nice. Let's get cocky.
As Perry comes out in the pistol. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Got his man behind him in the backfield. Young sophomore takes the snap. Boomers are looking to break pressure. It's a little tall screen out to Jones on the outside. 2 Boomers get to him immediately. Still, though, Jones able to fall forward for a gain of a few.
Great job by the...
Looks like Flores and Parkhurst, maybe. Oh,
great.
They say Keith Phillips. Okay.
Yeah, great job by Douglas to pick up the... They had Colin Bourne blitzing on the outside, and they were able to pick it up. No, that's not Colin. Is that Arnold?
Might be Mason Arnold.
Yeah, I think that was Mason Arnold blitzing on the outside, and they were able to pick it up.
It was Cooper Gregory Phillips in on the tech. And Douglas at this point seems like they're kind of, we talked about getting those reps. They're content to just not worry about the score and just try to give those reps, taking their time in the huddle. As the play clock goes to 20, still playing time snap. Game clock down to 10:50 remaining in the ball game as Woodward leads 27-0. 2nd and 7 for Douglas from their own 25. Perry in the pistol, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Man in the backfield behind him. Boomers again sending some of that pressure. Perry looking for a quick out to Jones, this time on the right side. Complete, but immediately tackled down for maybe a gain of 1, if not 2.
The Mason Arnold again.
Yep.
And that's kind of what the defense they've kind of been doing much really since midway through this first quarter is they've been sending a lot of guys and kind of in the pass coverage, kind of play off of them a little bit. If they complete it, they complete it. Let's go in there and make a tackle because they trust what the front has been doing tonight.
And they officially gave Jones a gain of 3, so mark it 3rd and 4. From the 27, they got to get to the 32. So give it to the 28, excuse me, not the 27. It's Perry in the pistol, 2 receivers each side, man behind him in the backfield. Back to pass on 3rd and 4, looking right side, floats pass up near the sideline, and that incomplete, maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Looked like Jones was running a sideline route, but the throw was well underneath, so Jones maybe went a little deeper than what Perry thought he was going.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. Maybe he was trying to go deep up the sideline, or if he was supposed to
go a little quick out, yeah.
But yeah, we've seen that multiple times on the Boomer side. When you're a young team, you're going to have those miscommunications and things like that. That's just all a part of the learning process.
So that brings up 4th and 4 for Douglas. 9:40 remains of the ball game, and they do bring out their punt unit as the Boomers come up with yet another defensive stand. And a whistle before the snap. False start on Douglas backs this up further. Looked like one of the gunners twitched a little early. So I give Cooper Littall a little bit shorter field to try to return it from.
Looked like, the Boomers are playing a little bit more safe. Just in case something happens here, they could.
And a low punt again, this time fielded on a hop by Littall, about the 48 in his own territory. Gets across into Douglas territory, 45, spins out of a tackle at the 42, tries to juke a man, but doesn't go any further. The Boomers take over about the 42 in Douglas territory after a solid return by Cooper Littall. Felt he had a little more space maybe. Good coverage by Douglass.
And, we've talked about, these young teams and, mistakes that they've been having. And, there has been, I was even during the dead part of that, right before that last play, there were some antics one of the Boomer players was doing. And, and then after the play, Douglas player gets up and he's constantly arguing about a no call or whatever. And, those are the immaturity things that young teams can do that you hope over time they kind of fight through.
So Douglas Fisher, the ones, come out to lead the offense for the Boomer as he's in the gun. Two receivers left as well as a tight end, one to the right side. Littall on the backfield. They hand it to him, looking for the short side. Cuts back up the middle to the 40, 35, gets a block, breaks tackle, 25. Jukes a man at the 20, down to the 15 for Cooper Littall. A nice run, finding the space.
There's some great blocks by several Boomers up there. I was kind of worried they were going to throw a flag on one of them, but I think they recognized that the Boomer player was actually pulled down instead of
him doing the pulling. Yeah. And a 28-yard run by Littall on the first play of the drive. And he's been so good tonight, Eric, at just finding some of those lanes. I mean, it's a quick cut, and it's the thing you appreciate. He's not dancing.
Right.
He'll stretch out a little bit, and he'll play and go.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that's exactly why the Boomer coaching staff decided to put him in the backfield, was because he does have a sense of, what the field looks like and a little bit of vision. And, doesn't try to do too much, just pick up what he can.
Douglas Fisher on 1st and 10 at the Douglas 14, tries to go with the QB draw, and right now stringing it out is Douglas Fisher, though, with a nice little juke move to at least get upfield for a couple of yards. Maybe had a little space to actually cut it up, but instead strung it out. Still will gain a few, but Ryan showing his moves in the open field. So what Cooper did say, I want to try a little bit of that maybe.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think if he had a better opportunity, if he would have followed a block and cut it upfield earlier. But, that's kind of what having Ryan back there does, is he's got the speed.
He's got almost too much for his own good sometimes.
Right, sometimes. And a lot of that confidence that I was talking about earlier.
2nd and 7 for the Boomers at the Douglas 11. 8:39 remains of the game. Woodward trying to extend their 27-0 lead. Douglas Fisher in the gun. They go with the handoff. This time, though, Littall puts it on the ground on the exchange. Douglas was pressure in the face. Littall falls on it, but it is a loss on the play. Looked like maybe Torrey Lowe, the freshman. Excuse me, that'd be, is it him or Tyrell German? Couldn't tell. One of the big guys was up front there and broke through the line early. So it forces back to 3rd and 12, a 5-yard loss on the exchange. Now the Boomers all of a sudden backed up. Douglas Fisher in the gun yet again. 2 receivers to the right side as well as a tight end, 1 to the left. Littall flanking on the left side to Douglas Fisher. So he takes the snap. They go with the handoff, and again pressure in the backfield. Littall breaks out of the tackle, but he's going nowhere. Tackled back at the 20-yard line. Douglas picking up on that little outside stretch. That does bring up a 4th and long for Woodward, all the way back to the 20. Might attempt a field goal here. Clock down to 7:25 left in the ball game. As Douglas Fisher looks for about a 36-yard field goal here.
We know he's got the leg to do it.
Showed that earlier this season, barely missed a 42-yarder. Snap. This one maybe a bit cleaner on the hold. Shorter kick though, and I think it got blocked a little bit. Either got blocked or Douglas Fisher didn't get that clean off the foot, and it is short, no good.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. There was definitely something that didn't happen clean there. I couldn't quite tell if it was on the hold or if it was just a miss. He just missed it on the kick, like
with the foot. Yeah, sliced it off or something. Yeah.
This is why I'm not a professional radio guy.
So Douglas will take over after the missed field goal at their own 20, with 7 minutes remaining in the ball game. Again, though, for Eric, and you don't want to complain too much and win, but the offense that's going to be something I'm sure will be the focus of Coach Gordon next week to say, hey, we had way too many chances blown tonight when you had the opportunity to punch it in. I mean, this could be a 45-0 type game right now, at least.
Yeah, and obviously going up against a team like Clinton coming up, you don't want your defense to take a step back because you're putting so much of focus on the offense. But this week, I'm sure the coaching staff is going to put a lot of time in on the offensive side of the ball. And Tyler, this is something we haven't seen in a long time with Woodward. Some of these other kids are now starting to get a chance to go in and play.
Yeah, some of these younger guys, some of the twos on defense start to get in. Those extra reps very valuable in the live game. I mean, you need it. Perry in the pistol for Douglass. A little miscommunication on the handoff, and he has to just throw it away. And that may be, is that intentional grounding? It looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage, though. I think that'd be the difference here.
Yeah, I think it's close. I don't know if that would.
I think they're good on it.
But again, these twos are got to push, and this is one where we've talked about some of the numbers against other programs. And, the Boomers this year, unfortunately, don't have the numbers to be able to play a JV schedule.
Right.
And so unfortunately, these kids don't get a lot of opportunities to go in and try to improve. And so, great job by the Boomers to put us in the situation where some of these guys get to go in now.
Perry back to pass on 2nd and 10, floats it up down the sideline looking for a man. That's intercepted by Mason Boring near the 50 as the pass too strong. He'll duck a couple of tackles down the left sideline to the 30, races to the 25, and finally gets knocked out of bounds, and maybe a late hit as well on the Douglass defense.
Yeah, I think they're just going to get it unsportsmanlike just simply because of the type of hit, because it looked like he was right there on the sideline. Kid kind of went in there helmet high and, hit him up high, so we'll see what happens.
So Mason Boring, though, after getting the pick 6 to start the scoring tonight, comes up with his 2nd interception of the game and just ball hawking in the secondary.
Yeah, and that is one thing that, I learned this pretty early on, and you've experienced probably this as well, but, some of your smarter kids, your academic type of kids, they are a lot of times in that free safety spot.
Yeah.
Because they have the ability to read and try to understand a lot more of what's going on, and, Mason's one of those who thrives in that spot.
That he does, and again, you go back to the soccer side, adept at that, kind of feeds itself a little bit because you have to read and react there a touch, whether you got the ball with your feet or you're a defender. And it is Boomer ball, of course, after the pick, and they'll march off the penalty. Oh, they give Woodward an unsportsmanlike, so it does offset. Okay, didn't catch that unsportsman.
It may have been back a little bit, but there's no telling. The way this game has gone, there's there's been a lot of jawing on both sides, and a lot of immaturity on both sides. I feel like that, in a lot of ways when it comes to play itself, the Boomers have done a really good job mature-wise of not trying to do too much and taking what's been given to them. But when you get between the plays, a lot of jawing and falling into the undiscipline that the other team may be delivering to you.
New quarterback in the game for Woodward is Cash Carter. The sophomore takes over. Snap a bit high. Gives it to Luke Parkhurst, the senior, the backup running back. He gets no gain on the play. And we've seen that a couple of times tonight. Some of those kind of missed timings on some of these snaps and handoffs.
Well, and to me, it almost looked like Luke thought it was supposed to be more of a direct snap.
Oh, okay. So he stepped in front, maybe a touch.
He stepped in front because I don't think Cash barely had a hand on it before that. Luke grabbed the ball and took off, and I think Cash was kind of confused on what just happened.
So 2nd and 11, they get Parkhurst for a loss of 1. Carter in the pistol, 2 receivers to the right as well as a tight end, 1 to the left. Parkhurst behind him in the backfield. This time a handoff up the gut to Parkhurst, who plunges forward for a couple yards, putting the head down. Bring up 3rd, about 9 for the Boomers as the clock ticks to 5:50 remaining.
I say let's let Cash throw the ball a little bit. These are the times where he's going to have to work on growing a little bit. He's struggled throwing the ball this year when he's been in there.
That's been one of the reasons for the swap right initially.
Right. You know, let him throw the ball and see if he can get some of that confidence back that he gained kind of as last year went along.
This guy here just wants to run up. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I do. I want to run it up.
3rd and 9 for Woodward. In the gun is Carter. 2 receivers to the right, tight end to the right as well. 1 to the left, and Carter looking to pass, rolling to the right side, floats it to the pylon, looking for a man, and Lataw just can't quite hold on to it. Good effort to lay out for it. Not a bad spot by Carter to put that in a place where Lataw had a chance at it.
Yeah, it may be a little underthrown, but
yeah.
You know, it was still, you know, put in, like you said, put in a place where Lataw still had an opportunity to make a play on that.
So I bring up 4th and 9 for the Boomers. Probably go for it here, not just because you want to, but really too close to punt. I don't think you want to take another field goal chance. Looks like that will be the case. 5:05 remaining in the game. Boomers lead 27-0. 4th and 9 though from the Douglass 23. As Carter getting the play over the Moore. He'll be in the gun. 2 receivers to the right. A receiver to the left as well as the tight end. Parkhurst in the backfield. Back to pass is Carter looking for the one-on-one shot to Moore in the end zone, and that one going to be a pass interference as Moore dug underneath the defender who kind of fell on him. And again, ball just a bit underthrown, but it worked out in the favor for the Boomers.
Yeah, and that's honestly the type of pass interference I was talking about earlier in the game where they didn't call, where, you know, Colt had to try to make a move to go make a play, and the defender got in the way of him. You know, this time it really doesn't matter. They call it. I don't think that's kind of the way the night's gone. But, you know, again, Colt made a great move to kind of put himself an opportunity, like see Cash get a little bit more air on that ball.
Yeah, well, just a touch more, you know, distance. It's almost the throwing motion, I think, is what's getting him off. Not that I'm a quarterback expert, but you can tell he's not quite getting that proper launch off the foot. Maybe that's what. Oh, they wave it off. So instead, no pass interference. Douglass forces the turnover on downs.
I don't understand.
I mean, yeah.
Unless they're saying that that wasn't going to be a catchable ball.
And that may be the case. Yeah, that might be the argument. Because Colt had to really come back for that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, may we have your attention? It's that time when we show our appreciation. They've been dancing their feet off all
So,
night long.
Douglass will take over 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. 4:58 remains in the game. And the crowd acknowledging the dance team, cheer team, doing a good job tonight. And of course the band.
Downside about this game is there's been no flow to this game. I mean,
it's been very stop-start. 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Perry in the pistol, looking to pass on 1st down. Goes with the quick out to the right side, caught by his receiver up to the 25-yard line. And it looked like it was the freshman, Cadis Vick on the catch. Gain of a 5, they'll say. He came up a little gimpy after the catch, though. So he'll come to the sideline, I should say. We are seeing some more of those Boomer, you know, 2nd, 3rd string guys coming in, getting some of that playing time.
Let's see if we can. Parker Carriante looks like he's the one who's running it, who's out on the field now for the first time. Lined up at over here corner, but he's listed as a linebacker. So
there you go.
Kind of getting him out there, getting him a chance.
A new secondary guy as well. Coach Gordon trying to get some directions going. A timeout taken by Douglass as they were a little slow to get to the line of scrimmage. With 4 minutes even left in the ball game, Boomers well on their way to their first win of the season as they lead 27-0. Smith & Co. Auction and Realty. They're Oklahoma's real estate and land auction experts. Smith & Co. is your #1 choice for all your land auctions and real estate needs. Call 580-254-3975 or email ira@smithcorealestate.com. Smith & Co. powering Boomer Sports all season long.
You know, it's good for these kids to get this win. You know, it's good for them to get the feeling of a win on a Friday night. You know, especially these freshmen who come in here and they kind of, honestly, several games have put themselves in a place to win. They weren't able to make it happen, but Boomer still have plenty to look at going into next week.
And,
things they got to work on.
I talked with Coach Manuel last night of Sealing because I was at that game, talked to him afterwards, and they weren't happy with they won 50-28, but took them scoring 22 straight to it. They had 3 fumbles. Easier to look back on the mistakes from a win and say, hey, got the dub, now let's work. 2nd and 5 for Douglass, and a pass complete on the far side. Juking a man out down to the 20, the 10. He's going to go, and it's a touchdown from Perry to looks like Keon Hudson, the junior, making a man miss and going the distance.
Yeah, and that was just one of those situations where, the Douglass had really kind of lulled the Boomers to sleep. They've been kind of, just running out the clock, kind of taking all this time off, been running the ball. They recognize that, hey, all these young guys are getting the chance to come in here and play. They don't get to play very much. Hey, let's try to make something happen. And if you notice, that was coming straight out of the timeout.
Right.
So they knew that, hey, here was an opportunity for us to try to gain a little bit of confidence and go out there and do something.
Douglass now going for 2, trying to make the math work here late. As Perry in the pistol, 2 receivers to left, 1 to right. They hand it off up the gut to Bell. He's trying to plunge forward, trying to drag the pile. And did he get in, or he was short? They say short. The Boomers stand him up.
See if we can see who gets up out of the middle of the pile.
Boomer D-line just pitching in.
Can't quite tell. The one who I think was in on there, his jersey's all pulled up. You can't see his number.
Well, that certainly helps broadcast.
So inconsiderate of broadcasters.
By the way, do want to update you, Elgin does defeat Bridge Creek tonight 44-0. They shut out the Bobcats. That'll be the Boomers' homecoming opponent is Bridge Creek. And we'd already mentioned, of course, Weatherford shut out Cash last night 39-0. And it was Clinton over Elk City 24-21 on the road. Check in on a couple of those 8-1s. Fairview took their foot off the gas after cruising 56-6 at the half. They beat Crescent 56-26. Hinton defeats Watonga 23-6. Sayre defeats Merritt 26-6. That was A1. Look at A2 here real quick. Hey, you were talking about that Apache Thomas game. Thomas has come back 34-33. Apache leads in the 4th quarter. So that's a tight one down the stretch. Could be a huge upset. Texoma tonight defeats Cordell 81-0. The Red Devils.
I mean, I know Cordell's not that good.
Right, but
still being able to put up those kind of numbers. And that was at Cordell?
That was at Cordell. Yeah, Texoma went down the road and got their money's worth.
Yeah, you make a 4-hour drive and you do that.
Yeah.
That says something.
Mangum did get the win over Moreland over at Interline Field just down the road from us here at Boomer Stadium, 40-8. Mangum remains undefeated. Pond Creek Hunter falls short against Laverne, 40-12 tonight. 8-man action. As we get to the kickoff for Douglass, they're just going to go with a little hopping and outside. They're going to get it as the Boomers weren't quite ready for it. Trying to see who that was targeted at. Try to make an effort. It looked like maybe Titan Fields was there and just couldn't quite come up with it. So Douglass recovers an onside.
Yeah, and now your ones are coming back in for the Boomers.
Yeah, you almost got to, right? It's not quite in a spot where you're worried, but you don't want to be worried.
And I'll tell you, as a coach, it's a terrible feeling when you have to make that call of, okay, you guys couldn't make a stop. You guys couldn't get any kind of momentum. They're starting to make a run. Like I said, it's kind of hard to make that call as a coach, but you got to do it ultimately to send a message as well.
Right.
And again, it goes back to that's what stinks about not having enough players to truly be able to play, a JV schedule. Because as we talked about the other night coaching show, it's a safety issue.
Right.
Where you got a lot of kids that are going to be playing a lot of minutes if you have to play JV.
Perry back to pass on 1st and 10. The Boomers string him out, and they get the sack. A flag comes in late. Trying to see who got sacked. Looked like Trip Bates was in there. Levi Harris as well. The flag came out as the Boomers were sacking Perry.
What would the...
Not sure what the flag would be, unless there was late hold. Oh, face mask. Okay. Didn't see that one, but they were tangled up, so it's one of those that's tough to see. So Douglass catches a break. Would have been a sack instead. It'll be a face mask. They had started the drive at the Boomer 43, and now we'll march it forward on the penalty. Should be to the 28.
I mean, there's a lot of times you can't tell if there was a face mask or not. I don't know how there was a hand up there to make a whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So Douglass now at the 29 of Boomer territory. 3:31 remains. Douglass trails 27-6. Trying to cut back into this Boomer lead. That's Perry in the pistol. 2 receivers each side. Man in the backfield behind him. Looks to be Bell. Perry, another quick out pass. This one off the hands of his receiver, though, intended for Devontae McCaffrey, the sophomore tight end. Pass was a little bit behind him. So that brings up 2nd and 10 for Douglass at the Boomer 29. Of course, Boomer defense is trying to get that final stop, if you will. As Perry lines back up in the pistol. 2 receivers short, excuse me, short side, 2 to the left, and now flag comes in as a Trojan, jumped on that short side.
A couple guys, I think that's probably where the call was going because they were excited to get up the field.
So back Douglass up, make it a 2nd and 15.
I have a feeling that guy got his number called. He was ready to get downfield and make a play. Got a little too excited.
You get antsy. You get antsy. Say, ooh, about to make it. About to make the play. So Trojans now back to the Boomer 34-yard line.
Don't they know I got to be an alley by 9 o'clock in the morning?
That is a what we call that's what the kids would say is a skill issue, Eric Scott.
It's going to be 7:30 is going to come really early.
Hey, I'm going to sleep in. I don't know about you. I got nothing planned tomorrow. 2nd and 15 for Douglass, and a pass, just a bit too hot, intended for Jones over the middle. And Perry zipped that one across his face.
Things we do for our kids.
Right. Right. But you love them.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing better than going to your kids' sporting events. You know, that's a lot, you know, some of the time that parents have to put into going and supporting their kids. And, you know, unfortunately my kids don't, you know, live with me, but, you know, I do everything I can to be at their events. It takes up a lot of that. Spent a lot of time on the road. That's for
yeah, you had a busy Saturday last week, balanced all that, but you were there.
Got 2 flag football games tomorrow.
There you go. 3rd and 15 for the Trojans as Perry in the pistol. 2 receivers each side. Man behind him is Bell. Back to pass again. Perry looking right side. Kind of hesitates to throw it. Finds his man. Shakes out of a tackle and then plowed down by Zaylen Flores. And all the catch, Keon Hudson, the junior.
You have a flag here on the near side.
Not sure what the flag's going to be here. A false start, or maybe an illegal shift.
Yeah, maybe illegal formation. Because I think illegal formation is that same
deal, yeah.
Same thing as false start.
So negate the game. Boomers might decline it, I should say. This is going to be 4th on about 9.
No, he's like, let's back it up.
Interesting. And the clock is still running, by the way. I don't think that's correct.
I don't think anybody cares.
Still ticking.
I will say overall, we have a backup clock guy tonight. I think overall he's done a pretty good job.
Not trying to knock the clock guy.
No, he's done a good job.
So they do accept the penalty. Back up Douglass. Negate the game. 3rd and 15. Perry in the pistol yet again. Looking to pass this time left side over the middle of that one. Incomplete. Almost caught by Hudson. A good hit laid by the Boomers. Looked like Providence over the middle made sure that Quandia Ziegler had no chance of catching that one.
Man, if anybody knows Brody, I wouldn't want to get hit by Brody. he is a stout young man. And he's still got a lot of room to grow too. That's the scary thing. Like he could be a beast.
Yeah, Autry better be careful because Autry's, you know, bigger right now in terms of the bulk. But you're right, Brody might catch up with him soon.
Brody's also angrier than Autry.
Yeah.
Autry's kind of goofy and fun to be around, and Brody's got that. I'm going to go out there and just hit you hard.
4th and 15 for Douglas. 2:12 remains in the game. They're going for it in Boomer territory.
Oh.
Perry loads up for the deep shot down the sideline, overthrown.
There's going to be a roughing the passer.
Ooh. Yeah, flag did come out. Looked like Keon Hudson, the intended receiver, down the right sideline. There's a flag. Boomers.
Yeah, the roughing the passer was a lot worse than I think it was intended to be. I think a Boomer went up to try to knock down the pass and then got bumped as he was in the air. So when he came down right on top of the quarterback.
And it is. So that will free up the first down. So again, Douglas offense giving some more life on the pill. As that will march it into the red zone at the 19-yard line after the 15-yard pill. So 1st and 10 for the Trojans at the Boomer 19. 2:04 remains in the game. Woodward still in control, 27-6. As Perry in the pistol, 2 receivers each side. Man in the backfield, Bell. Back to pass again. 1st and 10, a little quick out to his man Jones. That's a bit strong, though. Incomplete as the ball goes over the sideline. That's kind of been bread and butter for Douglas, trying to hit that little quick out.
Yeah, and again, I think some of the mistakes they're kind of making on the offensive side goes back to that being younger, and they need to build chemistry. And like I said, Woodward players, they all go to middle school together, But these Douglas kids, there's multiple middle schools that come together.
So they're late to the chemistry side.
So they've got to build that chemistry once they get into camp. And so
2nd and 10 for the Trojans as Perry takes the snap from the pistol, hands off to Bell, trying to bounce it to the right side and flying in for the tackle. Looks like that's Mason Arnold.
Like I said,
leaped.
Yeah. Oh, and we've seen that out of Mason where, he's quick, and he'll go in there and make a shot. He's one of those that you don't want to say high-headed, but because he's very emotional, and sometimes when he gets those big hits, it kind of lets that take over a little bit. But he's got the ability to do some awesome things.
And he does. Clock down to a minute 20 in the ball game now. As Douglas in no hurry here. 3rd and 12 for the Trojans at the Boomer 21. 27-6. Boomers on top. Perry back to pass on 3rd down. Looking to the left side. This one almost intercepted. Brody Province. I think his guys got a little too big. Thought about the return and dropped that one.
Yeah, because if he was able to make that catch, and he's quick enough. He's quick enough that not many people are going to catch up with him.
That would have most likely been a house call, and he's frustrated with himself.
I think he knew he just missed that opportunity to make a big play, but you still go out there. He has shown throughout the season that he's going to be somebody people are going to have to pay attention to, in the future for this Boomer football team.
4th and 12 for Douglas, going for it here. Perry back to pass again. 2 receivers each side, floating one towards the end zone into double coverage, and Mason Bourne comes up with his 3rd interception of the game. Simply takes a knee. Oh, and now we got some late extracurriculars as well going on with Zane Flores, and it looks like Bell. The interception will stand, but the Boomers might start this drive backed up to their own 10 or 5. Mason Bourne, the senior, though, 3rd pick of the night. On the heave by Perry. Yep. They only get a little too fired up there after the play. Good news is for the Boomers, they should be able to just knee this one out, essentially. 58 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, this is one of those games where, and I'm sure that this is going to kind of maybe come up in, meetings with the players and things like that, but the Boomers had the opportunity to kind of make a statement.
Right.
Yeah. Not only was it, hey, we're going to go in there and win, but we're going to show that, we have started to make that turn. And instead of making a definitive statement, they're going in there saying, yeah, we have the ability to, but we also done enough on our own to keep this a lot closer than it should have been.
Right. Oh, definitely will be talked about, I'm sure, on the offensive side, no doubt. As a carry there by the Boomers. Parkhurst, short gain, 1 yard. And of course, no hurry for Woodward here. As clock ticks to 40 seconds. Cash Carter in still at quarterback. Or should have stepped just about one more time before this one's official. Carter in the pistol, takes it, hands it off to Parkhurst yet again. Parkhurst trying to make some moves, gets to the 15, and gets tripped up there and taken down at the 16. And that will do it for the Boomers as they're going to score their first win of the season, first district win as well. They'll take it 27-6 over the Douglass Trojans tonight here at Boomer Stadium. We'll step aside for a break, come back, and put the post-game wrap on it. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Tired of complicated Wi-Fi management? Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi makes it easy. With Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi, you can set your Wi-Fi password, view all your connected devices, and even run speed tests all from your phone. Need to set up parental controls? No problem. Simple, smart, secure. Stay connected and in control with Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi. Visit GoPioneer.com to learn more.
For more than a century, Bank of Western Oklahoma has stood by our communities, understanding the unique culture and values that make Western Oklahoma special. As a locally owned and operated bank since 1908, we're not just bankers, we're your neighbors. We've seen generations grow, businesses flourish, and farms thrive. And we've been there every step of the way. Trust in a bank that shares your roots and works as hard as you do. Bank of Western Oklahoma, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
You tackle an endless to-do list every day. It may seem like a thankless job, but you know better. It's the little things that matter most. That's why you'll appreciate the enduring value of the Michelin Defender tire. Designed for doers like you, Michelin's longest-lasting tire keeps you on the go longer, so you have one less thing to worry about on your next road trip. Stop in today for miles of uncompromised safety and performance. Visit your local Michelin dealer, High Plains Tire, at 2220 Main in Woodward.
And welcome back to Boomer Stadium as Woodward comes away with their first win of the season, 27-6. Boomers get it done against the Douglass Trojans. And Eric, as we get to that second half, you were 12-0 at the half. Offense did go get a score in that fourth quarter, and your defense came up with another big play on the scoop and score, of course, by Case of Bourne. You got their safety in there. So you got three phases of the game, essentially. I know we talked about probably still want to see a lot more from that offense given the chances they had tonight. That, I'm sure, will be a discussion with Coach Gordon and the crew as they look towards Thursday with that road trip against Clinton. But otherwise, theme of the night, defense dominated. Just in entirety, that first-string defense was absolutely lights out.
Yeah, there's nothing you can take away from how well the defense played tonight. Douglass was able to make a few plays here and there, but that's going to happen when you're playing as an aggressive defense. They're going to be able to hit slants across the field because you're bringing so many guys up front, different things like that. And to me, that just shows how well you played, that they're having to come up with different ways to counter that blitz you're given and things like that. So to me, defensively, there's nothing you can take away. I felt like there was a few times where maybe they could have done a little bit more. They just kind of got too comfortable.
That was very few in between.
And I think a lot of that had to do with the flow of the game itself.
Right.
I talked about, the flow just kind of wasn't really there.
All the penalties.
Especially in the second half, and that kind of changes how the players respond as well.
I think, and we didn't get to talk about this during the break, but I think the player of the game tonight, got to be Mason Boring with those 3 interceptions. Of course, had the big one to start the game, the pick 6 to get us going. And Mason, the senior, doing a phenomenal job. So Mason Boring, Bank of Western Oklahoma, player of the game tonight, and the Boomers win with those 3 interceptions. Bank of Western Oklahoma goes beyond banking no matter where you are. The Bank of Western Oklahoma is always close. Find a location near you at bankofwesternoklahoma.com. And, of course, as we look forward, want to remind you, the cross-country team in action tomorrow at Watonga, so both the high school and middle school. So if you want to go support them, you definitely do that with their meet. Red River rivalry game tomorrow, Saturday, 2:30. Sooners going to try not to die against Bevo in Texas. We'll see. Still missing all 5 receivers, but I digress. Pre-game coverage begins here on Z92 at 11:30. And also want to mention, of course, no Boomer Coaches Show this week. We're going to take that a week off because the football team usually eats their meals the day before. Thursday game, fall break. That gets a little hectic trying to pull them away from that. So we'll take a break on the Coaches Show, which means the next time you'll hear from us will be Thursday night as the Boomers head to Clinton to try to tackle the Red Tornadoes, who survived a good challenge from Milk City this week. Obviously going to be a team that you got to really be well prepared for.
Yeah, we're going to finally get some football weather.
It's going to be cooler.
That's what I'm excited about. We're going to finally, I can wear jeans and a hoodie probably next week. I'm excited about that.
Hey, me too. I love the hoodies. We want to, of course, thank Pioneer, our defensive stand sponsors, Gwayne Matthews, starting lineup sponsor, Jess Wells Chevrolet, our scoreboard sponsor, Bank of Western Oklahoma, who does sponsor the player of the game, and High Plains Tire, who presents our halftime stats. Could not do without them, as well as all of our other great Boomer sponsors. Shout out to Sean Kelly back at the studio pulling double duty tonight, working the board for quick scores and for us here on Z92. Of course, thanks to the Boomer TV crew. Couldn't do without them as well. And hope you enjoyed watching their production. Chris Godwin and the rest of the kids under him do a great job. With that, folks, we hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you Thursday night as the Boomers try to take on the Clinton Red Tornadoes.
You've been listening to Woodward Boomer Sports on News Talk Sports Z92. Follow the Boomers all season long on Z92 and Z92online.com. This has been a presentation of Tri-State Media, the Tri-State sports leader.